Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. We have a space tonight that was in no small part triggered by a space with our brother Tariq Nasheed the other day. I was listening to a space where he talked about how he said something very profound with respect to the reason why Africans feel the outright need to say, "Hey, you're African." I've been hearing that my whole life. And like our brother Tariq said, I'm paraphrasing him, of course. It's disrespectful to our my granddaddy and grandmama to say that I'm African because my granddaddy and grandmama, particularly on my mama's side, are from Alabama. See, Alabama is a phrase, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of us are from Alabama, but we know very little about Alabama history. Alabama is not a never meant a place. Alabama is a phrase, Alabama. It means here we rest. And the powers that be know this because where do you rest? You rest at home. Sweet home Alabama, you know. Hint, hint, hint. Not wink, wink, nod, nod. Well, um, the black American and black, the black man and black woman, foundational black American man and woman are indigenous to the United States of America. We're part of tribes that were here before, in a lot of ways, before the red Indian term of academic canon. Um, I guess the sophisticated word is what's one he used? I forget that word. The ones that were related to the Siberian. I'm struggling hard as hell to look for the word Siberian. The Siberians. Um, Therefore, we are the indigenous group to the United States of America, and a great deal has been done to take that land-based identity. Let me say that again in another way because it's very critical. It's important that we understand that we, the descendants, the indigenous Black, uh, Indian, Native American, rather, um, is the first indigenous group to the United States of America. So there's been an effort since the start of time in this country to gaslight us, to make us believe that we're not um, American and that we have some land-based identity somewhere else. The goal is to take us away from America. Now, what our brother Tariq brought up the other day is this whole African Americanism and this whole black man, you're an African, is a vector of that attack. Like Professor A, you're not indigenous to Alabama, you're indigenous to Africa. And that does a very dangerous thing. It does two things. Number one, it separates our land-based identity from our homeland, which is the United States of America. And number two, it kind of ethnically dissolves us. I forgot how Tariq put it, but it was untrue. It makes Africans feel as though we are part. It links them to the culture and everything that we develop, every bit of genius that we manifest. They're able to tether onto it and say, no, no, no. Rap didn't come from New York. Rap came from the Congo. It came from the jungle. No, no, no. Soul food didn't come from the plantations of Alabama, South Carolina, and Georgia and Louisiana. It didn't come from there. It came from some village in Africa. Well, I've spent quite a bit of time in West Africa, and one of the first things that I realized in West Africa was that food is not soul food. I don't know what the food is. I'm not, in all honesty, I'm not fond of African cuisine. Um, I'm not fond of it at all, but and no disrespect to West African cuisine, but I was very shocked because no matter where you go in the United States, um, Black American food is similar. Half of my family's from DC, from the Virginia area. My dad's side of the family's from Virginia. They're in Maryland and DC, and the way that FBAs cook in Maryland, and even though they're cooking different things now, like my grandmama and my uncles would cook crabs. They would do crab boils, but it was a similarity to the way the food was seasoned to the food in my home state of Alabama, where we cooked, what I'm saying, collard greens and turkey, and what I'm saying, and different types of food. The seasoning is similar and the style is similar. When I went to West Africa, which I'm gonna put in the jumbotron shortly, um, the seasoning was off. The closest thing I could um, ascertain, the closest taste I could get from West Africa was kind of Caribbean, but Caribbean food can be very delicious. I really like. I'm fond of Jamaican food. Some Haitian dishes are really good to me, but it don't taste nothing like soul food, right? So questions of the day is: number one, did Africans create soul food? And second question is: do Africans make FBAs claim Africa? No matter where I went during my studies, I lived in DC for a moment, as I said earlier, and I just remember I worked at the Smithsonian Institution. I was very young, I was in my 20s, and visiting African professors would go out their way to say, "You're African, you're African." I was real young and didn't know how to like counter that. I was like, all I knew to say is, "No, I'm not." But I didn't know why they were doing that. They were doing that to dissolve my land-based identity in the country, in the United States of America, which is something they want, right? So, Wani, did Africans create soul food?
Absolutely not. And they also are spoiled by Pan Africanism because we reached out to them and now they feel they can claim anything that we've done here. So, absolutely not. We wrote a cookbook or published a cookbook back in 1848 and another one in 1866. And these other groups claiming our food don't have anything like that. And a lot of things that they have been claiming are actually French influences that they have nothing to do with. So if the French influenced people to cook things with rice-based dishes, and they've influenced or they created the whole Jollof rice dish over there because they were using barley, and the cook over there ran out of barley. And so they said, well, let's use this Indochina rice that we have. And then they preferred it. The French people preferred it with the rice. And they also started importing Indochinese rice, rice from Indochina, sorry. They do have a rice that grows over there in Africa, but it was not good. So they preferred the barley dishes. And so all of the things that I read about Pan Africans trying to tie our food to Africa are things that Europeans did. Europeans took peanuts and tomatoes over to west coast of Africa, and Europeans had the idea about the rice-based dishes, which don't really have anything to do with soul food, because the French were not on the plantations dictating our food. We can also talk about the English plantation owners. We know that English people can't cook today. In fact, their national dish is curry. It's kind of like a wink, wink, nod, nod. We can't cook. So we've had to take other people's food and make that our national dish. They know that beans on toast is trash. They know that their food is horrible. And that is their way of cooking. And they make fun of it. They're not even denying that they're not even denying that their food is not good. That's why you don't have beans on toast in your neighborhood. You cannot go down to the corner and go to a restaurant that serves beans on toast. There's a reason why. It doesn't taste good. And so our food is our own. We were given ingredients as being enslaved, and we cooked in the slave quarters. Of course, being enslaved, you had to have things like chitterlings, and that was a dish named by Germans, and eaten by peasants in Europe. And so that was one of the foods we were given to deal with. And of course, we made it taste better than everyone else's interpretations of that food. Um, People can't claim our food based on a vegetable. People don't own vegetables. So we make cornbread and we raise it like more like a cake. Um, and the Native American has a flatbread made out of corn. We don't owe Native Americans our recipes for cornbread. We have the right to use corn. This is where we live. Every human on earth uses the grains where they live. So if it's teff, they're going to make the East African bread. What's it called? Injera bread. Wherever you live, you're going to make a bread, a flat bread or a raised bread based on those grains. So people keep trying to say that we owe this person for our culture or we owe that person. We don't. Native Americans don't own corn, and we were given corn as a provision or maize. And we did what we did with the maize. Say we were given potatoes, we did what we did with potatoes. There's no Native American restaurant on your corner, I guarantee it. They are not, they don't have a cuisine like that. Nobody even knows what that is. They say three sisters, which amounts to succotash. So, no, our food is our own, and there's no connection. The only connection is the European going back and forth across the sea, sharing different foods with Caribbean, West Africa, and Louisiana. And that's that.
Well, if you look at the jumbotron, ladies and gentlemen, you'll see two signature dishes. I got them off the coast of Ghana in Accra, and uh, if you look at the fish, they cook the fish with the eyeballs in it. So somebody said the fish had an African face, but I digress. I'm gonna leave that alone. But look at the fish. Does he have an African face to
Let me
you?
look.
But but anyway, back to the point at hand. The dishes look good, but they didn't taste right. The seasoning was very different than FBA seasoning. Furthermore, I don't recall FBAs using a lot of rice. But something I want to kind of hone in. A lot of things, a lot of vegetables in Africa are not, and fruits are not African. The banana, which Dr. Ivan Van Sertima said was called the bakuku or bakuwa, was imported by Arabs. So, um, the banana, according to Dr. Francis, Ivan Van Sertima, was not indigenous to Africa. So I'm saying that to say that certain things that are part of traditional African, quote unquote, traditional African foods are not even African. Ladies and gentlemen, I remind you that, as has been said in several spaces before me, West Africans, we know more. Foundational Black Americans know more about our history than West Africans know about their history, because West Africa was completely colonized and busted apart by Europeans, and the Africans were assigned their last names in a lot of cases by Europeans. We know exactly who we are, and we got a group of people who are recently colonized. I mean, how old is Ghana? Somebody Google how old
A
Ghana
lot
is.
of
Is
these
it
are
seven?
from the 60s and 70s. Oh, yeah, the banana is from Southeast Asia, Indonesia,
Right,
Philippines. Let me look
right,
up
right.
Ghana.
So yeah, like Wani said, it's the '60s. I mean, my parents are older than Ghana, so and no disrespect, no slight, no I'm not casting shade. I give respect where respect's due. I will say Ghana is one of the most gorgeous. It may be the most gorgeous place I've ever seen in my life. Not just because it was pretty, which it was, but it was gorgeous because it was unique. The different timbers of the leaves, they were dark, dark green, just gorgeous. So I give it all the props that it deserves, but I'm not going to give it props that it doesn't deserve at my expense. You know what I'm saying? You can't walk around saying I know more about myself. You don't know who you are, nigga, when they're new.
Yeah,
They're like,
1957.
yes, my father is older than Ghana. So how in the motherfuck do they know more about their history than I know about me? I mean, I my grandmama knew um, of in lineage in Alabama before it was called Alabama. um, before the state was called Alabama. Like I said earlier, before some of you came in, the word Alabama is a phrase. It means "here we rest." Here we rest. Allah, here, Bam, we rest. Ma, here we rest. And we have lineage there for tens of thousands of years. And some lineage that we can look up because, like Wani said in another space, they took so many fucking records of us trying to oppress us that we got records. And I'm not talking about no secondary or tertiary source. I'm talking about primary source documents talking about our lineage. So we know exactly who the fuck we are. We know exactly what we created because of our patents and our cookbooks. And I don't recall seeing one African cookbook in West Africa, in Ghana, in Togo, in Nigeria. I never seen one cookbook, but I've seen a plethora of cookbooks with respect to foundational Black Americans. So Africans did not create soul food. I don't know their category of food, but from
Slop,
what I
slop. And I only know of one dish that they made with okra that they seem to have been making that before the Europeans showed up. But they eat a lot of bush meat and stuff like that. They really do. So
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, collard greens and potatoes and corn, beans, peaches, apples, and melons thrived in harsh weathers, so we were allowed to grow those sometimes on our own, and that's why we got very friendly with some of those vegetables because collard greens appeared in ancient Greece, 800 BCE. Egyptians and Ethiopians recorded early use of okra, and later Europeans wrote of okra in West Africa. So they imported this collard greens, black eyed peas, and okra to the Americas, and then they took the peanuts and the tomatoes and other things over to Africa. So that's who's bringing things across the seas, not Africans are not influencing anything.
yeah, 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 yeah. And the dishes. Jollof rice, which is such a staple, and it's not a parody. I mean, we on the spaces it seems like it's just a parody. No, no, no. In West Africa, Jollof. When I was last time I was there, Jollof was the main staple of African food. And as it comes as I came to find out, Jollof is not even. What did you say, Wani? Jollof came from France.
It's a French dish.
That's
The French
ridiculous.
colonists put that together. They're the ones who said you should use rice for this dish. They're the ones that imported the not the French, but some European brought over tomatoes and peanuts. I'm not sure which one, but it was introduced by Europeans. That whole dish is put together based on colonists' requests. And that's what's so weird about it. They're up there fighting over this dish, and it's recorded that this woman named Pinda, how she was making this dish and how she was told to make it like that and make it like this. And it was named with a French name. And then they just took it and
Wow.
call it Wolof Jollof rice. And one of,
Oh, Wolof.
yeah,
Is that after the Wolof
Wolof
people?
Empire, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So they kind of stole.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't think the French people wanted to hand wrestle them over rice. They make, Spanish people and rice and French people make rice dishes. So they didn't want to argue with them over it. And no one knew they were going to be so starved for culture that they would fight each other up and down the west coast of Africa over jollof rice, over a rice dish.
That's ridiculous. In addition to Jollof, um, if you look through the jumbotron, you'll see a staple food of Nigeria and Ghana is called fufu. Now you hear that a lot, fufu, and a lot of us foundational Black Americans don't know what fufu is. If you look in the jumbotron at the right picture, you'll see two balls. They're white and they look like mashed potatoes. So fufu comes in like this. Um, what do you call it? Like a plastic bag almost. I tried to. Fufu is referred to as swallow food. You eat it with your hands. Now, Wani, no disrespect to our cousins in West Africa, but I didn't really like the concept of eating with my
I'm not
hands. When
related
you
to them.
yeah, yeah, okay.
I
That
don't
caught me
think
off guard.
it's hygienic. Not that I don't think it's hygienic. It's not hygienic to eat with your hands. That
Right, but
it's
what I was
better to eat with chopsticks and forks.
had several instances. um it seemed like it was the norm in West Africa to eat with your hands. And before I make that snap judgment, given the fact you have more experience in West Africa than I do, although my experience is sufficient, would you say that the majority of places you went in West Africa, you were allowed to eat with your hands? I mean, you had to eat with your hands, or were you provided utensils?
I
Because
would
the majority of
basically, when
go ahead.
people had um, mannerisms I didn't like, I would just go eat in my room.
Mm.
I wouldn't participate sometimes. I've tried, but I didn't like it. I have tried to eat that way, but it wasn't comfortable. I'm not going to stick my hand in slop and try to grip it with a ball. It's just not a good fit.
Yeah, yeah, we were eating with some dignitaries, some like politicians and I guess rich people, if you want to call them that. And he sitting at the table. If you look at the plate on the right with the two balls, the fufu balls, they were urging me to eat with my hands. And I didn't want to, and I actually offended somebody because I wouldn't eat with my hands. They didn't have a sink. They had and this is not a third world restaurant. This is like a upper class restaurant in Accra, Ghana. They had a bowl on the table, and you're supposed to stick your hand. The bowl had water in it. You're supposed to stick your hand in the bowl and wash your hands off. Everybody sticks their hand in the same bowl and wash their hands off, which to me just kind of felt um
Like sharing
it
bath
felt like
water.
yes, yes, and I was losing my appetite, and I swear I actually offended a dignitary. She's like, "What's wrong? Are you not hungry? You need to eat. You need to eat." And I was just like, No, no, no. I have a stomach ache." But I didn't want to eat with my hands because I felt like it was protozoa. We're touching doorknobs and shit, and there was nowhere to wash my fucking hands. I had to use the bowl that everybody stuck their hands in. It's no wonder we were all sick. Now, the second thing I want to get to, it seemed like lamb was a staple food in West Africa. If you look by the fufu balls, you'll see lamb, a big lamb chop. Now, that was real fascinating because a lot of people seemingly in Accra had pet lambs. They would be tied up outside. If you look in the other picture in Jumbotron, I put a picture of a lamb that's tied. It's kind of pathetic. It's pitiful. This little thing was tied up by a string outside. Now, what I later found out is these things are food. So, a lot of West Africans in Ghana would actually play with their food. They would have a pet that they would eat. Uh, I'm just wondering, how do you do that? How do you have a lamb that's your pet, and then you kill it and eat it? How does that
I
work?
don't know. That's not the way that a lot of foreign people don't make friends with the food.
Yeah,
They
and
draw a distinction.
the reason why I know this is I was asking. Took a picture of the lamb. The first one, he has a little string around his neck, and he was actually pretty friendly. But it was told to me that they would allow him to congregate like with children and stuff. But if somebody wanted to buy the lamb to cook it, to slaughter it, that's fair game. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of cold. um, and last but not least, if you look at that picture, it's a goat that climbed a heap of rubble. In Ghana, goats or whatever those pygmy goats would just be running around everywhere, like they just ran freely, like they would run in traffic, and traffic would just kind of slow down. So it was a lot of interesting foods in West Africa, both um, alive and slaughtered. But one thing I want to say with absolute certainty is I didn't recognize any of the foods. Given that fact, I would say Africans did not create soul food. Their food was not even vaguely reminiscent of soul food. I don't know the category. Now, one piece of food that I will give praise to was there was a milkshake over there that they used honey in that was just bomb as hell. It was like an ice cream milkshake they had that was real popular. But other than that, the food was
But
not.
those things don't count because they're just copying. At this point, they're just copying and trying to make smoothies and other kinds of things that other cultures are making. They're not, we're talking about their traditional foods, which is bush meat and some sloppy soups and balls. So, own it.
Yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't touch that goosey soup. I wouldn't touch it. Um, no disrespect, guys, but I got a stomach bug. I don't really know where it came from, but it lasted for months. I think I was really cautious not to stick my hands in my mouth. Like I said earlier, I actually offended some dignitaries, so I wouldn't eat with my hands, and I wouldn't drink the tap water. I My stomach bug either came from one or two places. It either came from we stayed in the Hotel Elisa, which is a really nice hotel, and they had a breakfast. This is early on in the trip. I was like, thank God, a breakfast. And I walked around Hotel Elisa's. It was really beautiful, elaborate platters of breakfast food, and I saw snails, like big old gigantic snails on the platter, and I lost my appetite. I was just like, I don't know, it was weird. It was like I'm not eating any of this stuff. But what I did eat was a piece of fruit. Now, in West Africa, they say do not drink the water unless you're from there because the water has protozoa that our body's not used to. So either that piece of fruit I ate had some protozoa on it that fucked my stomach up for like 2.5 months, or when I took a shower, the shower water got in my mouth and put a weird protozoa in my stomach. Whatever it was that made me sick had my stomach jacked up for 2.5 months. So, needless to say, I didn't. I enjoyed being in West Africa, but I didn't enjoy the food, and it was not soul food.
Now, whose hand was
Now,
up?
oh, go ahead.
You remember?
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, raise your hand if you want
Do
to
you
speak.
see the hand, though? I think,
I don't see one
oh,
hand.
XAY sphere, I think was first.
Okay,
How
go
y'all
ahead,
doing? This
bro.
is A-Spear. Thank you for letting me on. Salute to Professor Allen. Salute to Nikki. Salute to Wani. Salute to the FBA family. I gotta do Did Africans create soul food? No. Um, I got a theory that the indigenous enslaved were the ones who created soul food, going off of the Three Sisters, the food that was indigenous to the Americas. I believe most of the people who were in the Americas weren't really in the northern part. They were in Central and Southern America where it's warmer. And the fact that we use utensils and such to cook with our food, I think that's a big difference also. Do Africans make FBAs claim Africa? All the time. All the time. They're never going to stop. It's something that they feel they need to do to be able to have some sense of importance when they understand that all their accomplishments come from the past. And they're not trying to make anything for the future. They want to live off the past. And I'll end with that.
Well, what do you mean when you say and I agree with you. I'm just trying to make sure we're on the same page. When you say all their accomplishments come from the past, could you tell me a little bit more about that?
When I speak to anyone who's an African or anyone who's a Pan African, they speak of like Mansa Musa, of the accomplishments that come from Egypt. There's never really any accomplishments that come from more of a recent time, like similar to how the FBAs have. We do have accomplishments that came even during slavery, but after that, and I get them saying they come over here and they work hard and they do a lot of specific things to help themselves on the other end, but they also haven't built anything in America to say, well, we created this, we have these inventions after coming over here and understanding what you understand and showing that we have a better sense of creation because we started this.
Right, right. Yeah, good point. Good point. All right, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor and raise your hand because I see
I
a lot of
see.
people come off speaker.
I think
Yeah, go ahead.
seventh was next. I'm not sure though.
Rob from the whip.
Was
Um,
Rob next? These
yeah, he
hands are a
was.
mess. Go ahead,
Okay.
Rob.
Yeah, go ahead, brother
First of
Rob.
all, what's going on, everybody, man? Hope
Hey,
everybody's feeling
hey.
well. So I got a couple things to say. So, I had an eventful life. My grandmother had her own soul food restaurant. So I grew up cooking and eating soul food my whole life. And I can cook my ass off. So when I joined the Navy, I first came in as a cook because that's what I thought I wanted to do. But after 4 years of doing that, I switched over to Intel. So I learned how to cook the proper way with all the measurements and all the theory behind cooking. I had to go to school for all that. I say all that to say this. Uh, Came full circle before I joined the military. I lived in the South Bronx. One of my neighbors, one of my mother's best friends, she made up there. She was from Africa. I forget what part. Her name was Cece. Anyway, she cooked, and I had I was eating African food, and I didn't like it. I'm telling you, it had the flavor was different. Like they cook with different seasonings. It wasn't hitting like home. And she used to get mad at me because I tell her I didn't like it. And she would make fun of me like, you don't know good food when you eat it. I'm like, man, I know good food. This ain't it. My mom used to hit me under the table and tell me stop being disrespectful in people's house, man. I'm like, man, I eat that nasty food, man. But anyway, so and like Wani was saying, the seasonings are different. Not only the way that we cook our food, it's
Right.
just
Yeah.
is off. Like it looked like it might be good, some of it, but when you go to taste, it's like, eh.
Exactly. Like if you're looking at that way, what he Rob said is spot on. If you look in the jumbotron at those two main meals I got, that fish and that fufu and stuff, that it looks kind of good, but the seasoning is not.
That's
See,
not
you know what
their,
it
but
tastes like?
see, that's what I'm saying. This is not their food. This is just the American or the Western style of their food. All of their food is piles of slop.
So,
That's their take on food. It's just different sloppy piles of stewy slop. That
but when
doesn't
you
taste
travel,
good. I mean, it
when you,
tastes good in Ethiopia. The piles of slop are better, and the bread is better. But the fufu balls over here in the slop is not better. This is we're not talking about their, public face of cuisine. We're talking about their real cuisine. And they don't
Got
have
you.
dry food. Like we have crispy, we have every texture. See? We have the greens, we have the macaroni and cheese, we have the crispy foods, the fried foods. We have all kinds of textures, and they don't even have those seasonings. So, of course, it can't taste like ours. They don't even have the same seasonings. You can't just say seasonings. I'll put it like this. When my grandmother cooked, people would try to get her to cook for them and be a cook and beg her to make food. But when they cook, people want to evict them from the building because it stinks.
The
They
smell,
have been
yeah.
evicted for cooking. My grandmother would have never been evicted for cooking. She would have been run up on like she was.
so I'm gonna say this: like I've traveled the world, and a lot of those foods from Europe and from those other countries, European countries, they're bland. Like British foods is just nasty as hell. I've been to Great Britain, that shit sucks. I've been to France, French food sucks. Even it took man, I gave you the first country I hit on the ship. We pulled in the Maddalena, Italy. And I'm like, man, we going to the motherland because I love Italian food, right? Pizza, spaghetti, lasagna. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna get some good Italian food. It's the motherland. Man, we sat down and ate that shit. That was the worst shit I ever. It was so bland. No seasons, no spices. It was just like, ugh. Then we went to Greece. Greece, some of the food was okay, some of the stuff, but again, it's the seasonings. It's just they don't cook right. I don't know what it is. It's just even
Well, I've had real Greek food and it was off the
right.
fucking hook. It was so
So
good.
when I went over there, it was just like some of it was good, like I said, but Some of it was just blanded. Like it was like it needed. I wound up putting a lot of salt and pepper on it. I was asking for it, and like I said, but there's no place like home. That's what it comes to. As far as the other half of the conversation, do Africans do Africans try to make us claim Africa? Hell yeah, they do because again, it's a lot of jealousy and envy. You know what I mean? Our ancestors got stole from over there, and then we winding up in one of the best places in the world. You know what I mean? So, and everybody kind of try to aspire to try to get here, and now we fucking run the planet like everybody's influenced by our culture. So, it's a lot of envy and jealousy. So yeah, they want to tie themselves to us and try to say, well, you come from us, but so I take it as a grain of salt, man, and just keep it pushing. Because I'm proud to be where we are, man. I'm proud.
Oh
So,
yeah,
and I land with that.
no cap. Appreciate your submission. Was it seven forward, ladies?
Yes.
Go ahead, seven forward. Good to
Hi,
see you,
good
Professor.
evening. Yeah, look, they try to tie our food here in Louisiana to Africa. It's not African. They try to say gumbo is an African word. It isn't. Gumbo comes from the Choctaw word combo, and it's the sassafras leaf for which we make the filet you put in the gumbo. So it has nothing to do with Africa. They tried to say jambalaya and jollof are the same. They tried to say jambalaya is an African word. It isn't. Jambalaya is a Provençal word. It's similar to jambalaya. And jambalaya is basically our version of the rice pilaf dish that other countries have. The rice pilaf dish, which is pretty good, but jambalaya is our version. And like the way they cook okra in Africa is totally different. I commented on this video that Wani put out where that woman is eating with the fufu in her hands, and I see that shit is all snotty, slimy. We don't even cook okra like that here in Louisiana. The way we cook okra, there is no slime. Now, some people they say you add something acidic, you add some vinegar or some lemon juice to stop the slime. My mama doesn't even do that. She makes my mom last.
Oh, that was a mistake. I'm sorry. I hit the. That was a mistake.
The last thing you said was stop the slime.
Yeah, so there's a
Again,
way to cook it, right? Some people, they add a little something acidic to break up the slime. You don't even have to do that to it. Like last week, my mama made some smothered okra, very good. I asked her like how you cook it and you don't put anything acidic to stop the slime. She told me how she does it. She just cooks it on the stove. I don't think I want to say how she does it. I don't want to because she maybe her little secret. But there's a way to do it, and we don't even we don't even cook like they do. And I'll tell you one last thing. So I got invited to a conference in China, and the guy says, "Hey, do you want to go?" I says, "No, I'm not going." He says, "All right, if you're not going, I'm not going." I said, "Look, man, I can't go there because I'm afraid to eat the food because I don't know if you've heard the stories of how they do food in China. It's disgusting. I don't think no one wants to hear it, but
you said the food in China is
it's
nasty.
dangerous.
So the
Not it's
lady was
dangerous.
told me not to eat.
It's
Oh
The
wow.
dangerous.
historian told me not to eat
Yeah,
at the
they
restaurant.
have a lot of cat. They eat a lot of rat meat, cats,
I mean,
dogs and
nah,
stuff.
that's true, and it's
That.
unsanitary, and they make a lot of fake food there. So I say, look,
Hmm.
man, look, I ain't going because I'm afraid to eat the food. If he says, all right, then I'm not going either. If you're not going, so yeah, so that's that. I yield the mic.
Very
I
interesting.
was just going to say
Go ahead.
we have two world class cuisines, soul food and Louisiana Creole Cajun food. Um, and that's hard to do because not everybody has their own food. Italy has their own food, Italian food, Mexico, Mexican food, Japan, China, Korea, Indian, Greece. and Thailand developed globally embraced foods. However, these other people share the cuisine. Mediterranean people share a cuisine with nearby countries. In other countries, their food is not, people don't really want it. England, Scotland, maybe Ethiopian here and there. Spanish food is not very good. People don't like it. They're kind of shocked because they expect Spanish food to be good for several reasons. Russian food is not considered good. Scandinavian, West African, they share food and it's not really good food. Nobody is, trying to get their food. But I was going to say that to have two cuisines that are well thought of and have Caribbeans and Africans cooking our food behind our back over in their countries and then trying to tie it to their food. Like it makes no sense. They're over in the Netherlands opening up soul food restaurants, trying to copy off of what we're doing. In these other countries, they don't lie. England doesn't pretend like they have good food. Scotland has, haggis and, stuffed intestines. And now France is very interesting because they don't have good food, but they have a lot to do with food because they've embraced the Greco-Roman food preparation techniques. Now, that you have to go back far to find out why that is. They have embraced Greco-Roman food techniques, and so they know how to present food. They do good pastries, but they didn't invent those either. They got those from earlier groups. But France is always going to be the forefront of food. And you're going to sit there and go, why? French food sucks. And I don't have a French restaurant on my corner and most people don't because they're if you look up what is their food, you're like, I don't like any of that.
I
And
like
you're
beef
not interested.
bourguignon.
Yeah, but yeah. Anybody had that recently?
I never had it before.
You're not missing
Did
much.
you say beef bark?
Bor
Beef
what is it?
Like
boeuf
some dogs are
bourguignon.
barking?
Bourguignon. See, they don't have very popular food, but they're experts at food presentation and how to make the food. That is very strange because they have all these skills, you would expect them to have really good food. But they know how to make the cheese sauces. They know how to make the pastry. They know how to make all these things. But it's just not their traditional food. And they had kind of a little culture war when they were Romanized, when it was called the Gaul region. They wanted to have these rustic meals. They didn't like the Greco-Roman way of cooking, so they were battling back and forth with who was going to win. And so that's why their food is kind of up in the air because one part of them wants to do this rustic, not so popular food style, and the other part of them wants to be, create the Michelin star to determine whether any restaurant on the earth is good. So they're the food experts that don't even really have that great of a cuisine for themselves. Okay, who's next? I see somebody trying to come up. Oh,
I don't know who was next. Was it the great one?
mm-hmm.
How you guys doing?
Hey.
Hey, my friend.
What's happening, family? I'm so proud of you that everybody, we're all talking about the same thing. We're all on the same page. Black Americans, we are so much on page that they don't get. To spend $1 billion on just talking to us, trying to figure out who we are, even though we're right in front of their faces, that's hard to do. And I'm proud of Wani. I'm proud of Miss Wilson. I'm proud of all of you guys. Thank you guys. And I'll land my plane on that just off of the love that I've had for you guys because you guys have always hold it down. We've been doing this shit for years and they didn't understand what we was doing. And I'm proud of us. This is one time where I'm proud of people. When I was in Ramadi, I know that Wani that you went to Iraq. I went to Iraq too, and guess what? To even know that this is this hot, and you know how the Middle East is this hot, and to see that our people have came back and said that yo, we're going to do this, and there's not going to be a Haitian, there's not going to be a Jamaican, there's not going to be an African. This is what we're going to do, and we have complete. The mission is not complete though. Now, Wani, I want you to tell them the mission is not complete because there is a whole bunch of people who want to come here and want to be a part of be a part of us that we have to say no. Just like Cat Williams said to Diddy, there's a party that you just can't be a part of. And we was like, you just gotta say no. You gotta say no to the Diddy parties. That's what Africans are to us. That's what Caribbeans are to us. You guys are a Diddy party, and we're just saying no. Black Americans are saying no. I hope that you guys understand that. That we're just saying no to all you parties. And I'll land my plane.
Thanks. Now, just wanted to say that some of the foods that we created were in the big house. So we were cooking for these very rich people in the big plantations, and we were kind of under a lot of pressure to come up with unique foods, and that's how these things like potato chips came about. This man was playing around with potatoes. He worked for, he had his own little uh, restaurant kind of, but these these types of foods are being born from chefs. And the other one was Sally Hemings' brother. He was considered the first master chef in America of all races because Thomas Jefferson sent him over there and he came back with different ways of dealing with cheese sauces
Yep.
and creating macaroni and cheese. And then the other guy created um, Saratoga chips and then later had those in a restaurant. But then they said his sister actually made them, and they have a lot of stories. But he is credited with making these chips and these potatoes. Um, and other we have other things like that, like perfecting the way that ice cream is made. We didn't invent ice cream, but we invented the way that it's eaten and the texture that we expect ice cream to be. And again, that was because of being in the White House or in the big house or in the White House. Um, for some of these things, having to come up with unique foods in plantations or in the White House itself. So yeah, we have very, very long history with working with food, and like we have the cookbooks to back it up. I don't see how these other groups can come up and say we created your food. Oh, where show me a cookbook where you were cooking fried chicken in the 1600s. Show me this. Show it to me. Show me a recording of you creating hip hop. Show me a recording or a video of you dancing or doing these dances, and I never get those things. All I get is their big mouth talking about what they created. And the reason they're doing that is because they're used to not dealing with information. They're just used to opening up their lying mouths and saying something. They do it on the islands, they claim each other's stuff, and they think there's no way to back it up or find out about it. But there is. And again, if you want to steal someone's accomplishments, at least come with a book, not just you talking about it. Go ahead, Mins.
Yeah, so we are here again. Did Africans create soul food? Hell no. When it comes down to that question, I wasn't even going to answer. I was going to go right past to the next one, but I thought about it, and um, there's three different supportive reasonings why I can say no, 100% supportive. When two of them is from what my parents told me, and my grandparents also told me on both sides, on all sides, right? At like lunch, at dinner table discussions, family dinners, like when I was younger, and we was all together in the South eating at the table and having a conversation about food and everything and recipes. Because y'all know how our family, Black American families, are traditionally, right? Somebody cooks something slamming, like, what'd you put in this? And, and that opens up to these other discussions and stuff. I remember um, at one of these family gatherings that they talked about soul food specifically. And they were going back into the days where they were making spam. When my mom was like, I remember, we only had spam in the cabinets and stuff. Like, hard times. They was like kind of just remember like what they made it taste like. And my grandmother responded is like, yeah, that's because we poured our soul into it. They were basically making a reference to when my grandmother had made spam and they didn't even know that it was spam and that spam was like a poor, a staple food, like a poor staple food in the black community for like poor families and stuff. And mother was kind of like, yeah, you made it taste like steak. And my grandmother responded like, yeah, because we poured our soul into it. And so that was like the one of the references I always thought about when I heard soul food. And then there was another reference that and our ancestors used to cook like cabbage, oxtails, collard greens, um sweet potato pie, and all these other things, and they used to make it taste like top notch, first class food, as you would call it, during enslavement and stuff, and in different periods after. And it was the soul that was poured into the food that made it taste so good, using what was available, and what wasn't available you had to make, you had to compromise so much that you had to use your soul to make it taste good. That was the compromising portion. Cooking in a certain way, and using a specific ratio of certain ingredients, and tasting as you go, tasting as you cook and everything, trying your best to make it taste like the best thing ever, and basically again, improvising, improvising, and then of course I read online, um, you know, soul food was I had read, well, that was a story of like what you kind of was talking about, Kwani, like when you're cooking for upper class people and you don't, and like, you making a good dish could mean your life, in some cases, or it could mean punishment and so forth, right? But then there's the third one that I read online that like soul food was, because we were given the scraps of everything, the scraps of everything, and we basically didn't have access to a lot of things that and ingredients that were available to people inside the house, and then soul, pouring your soul into the food, to make it taste real good, um came into that because of the creativity and the amount of like extenuating circumstances that forced, like some people like really went searching for certain ingredients, and having to use and settle for another ingredient instead of one that was preferably, so one that would be preferred. And I've done that in cooking before too. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've improvised, when salt wasn't available, because and now I don't even cook with salt now, believe it or not. But I can see,
I don't either. I don't either.
yeah, I don't even cook with
You don't
salt.
need
You know what I'm
salt.
saying? So that's just interesting. But imagine like other ingredients you don't have, and spices, or and everything, and I've done that too. So, yeah, I no, I don't think that Africans created soul food. In fact, I would, if Africans created soul food, I think it would probably be something totally different than what we think it is. It would probably be something like some satanic rituals or something, or maybe they think that the body parts they were eating has the soul still. Now let me stop. Um, No, I mean, because you do see some videos where they be eating people's arms and legs and thumbs and shit. So I mean, but you know,
Thumbs.
yeah, I seen a video where somebody, yeah, it was crazy. But I'm not gonna get on all of that because I know that in different countries, certain things are normalized and they do be doing stuff like that. So hey, um, but now the next one: do Africans make FBAs claim Africa? Now that's a very interesting question because I've met people, and I will name drop like Rob Bourne. You know what I'm saying? Y'all remember the Rob Bourne? I met the doctor. What was her name, man? Doctor Evil. But I met them and I mean like had conversations with them and and especially on social media. I can't remember that woman's name, Wani. Doctor
Dr. Goddess?
Goddess. And she was one of the first people amongst the and amongst many Africans that was
You talking about that Pan African lady?
yeah yeah amongst so I I've had I'm talking about the earliest days like where in the first time in my exchange about being Black American and being proud of being Black American and and the contributions of my people, right? That they would basically um they didn't make us claim Africa. But so I'm assuming you're talking about like historically, like during like the 60s or something, or maybe the 80s. Um, I don't think that as far as us as the larger population that we ever was made to claim Africa. I think
No,
that
it's kind of reverse because we reached out and claimed that, that was those were our roots. We were
well
mistaken, and then they got used to it, and so they just keep saying that we're African.
yeah. So dang man, Ronnie man, you be hitting my stuff, man. I wanted to say something like that, but I'm a what I think is this, man. I think Black Americans are what happened, and from some of my family members, I think what happened, and I'm gonna be done after this is that every part of us we wanted to be proud about and the parts that they demonized us for like the association to Africa and our response as we've always done is we took the parts of us that they demonized and we wanted to make it trendy and we damn sure did catchy and vibrant and beautiful. So I don't think that it was that we were calling ourselves Africans. I think that we were glorifying our African ancestry. You see the difference? There's a difference between being happy of your ancestry and looking at the great things, that you may be attached to or that they state that you're attached to, than just saying you are these people. And that's kind of like the problem I have with today is like today I think that they're trying to actually I think today they're trying to make us actually African, overlooking that we don't have 100% or even 80% ancestry from Africa. You know what I'm saying? We're made up of many other groups of people. And I think that with the same argument, like there's people that are not happy or proud about their ancestry enough to where they are claiming to be other groups. And I'm not going to say what those other groups are, other tribes and so forth, 100% other tribes, rather than being happy about the mixture and the different greatness that comes out of the different lineages that make up who you are today. And that's all I have with that. Like we're not African, and us being proud about and being proud about something that they demonized for, which was our ancestry, is something that we, kind of we fought against or challenged by talking about the great things that came out of these particular areas or that continent because of being associated our ancestors being associated with that continent specifically. Like they never got on our Italian ancestry if you had an Italian ancestry. I don't have Italian ancestry, but they never got on the Irish ancestry that you have. They never got on the Scottish ancestry that you had. They never got on the Native American ancestry that you have had. They've always associated Black Americans with just solely being from the African continent. And I think that what we did
That's
to
because
counter
we
that.
did it. We put that
Hmm.
out there by saying we're black. We did not go along with the mulatto and all the rest of it. Even colored was rejected. which is associated with a mixed race person. So we did that. We said we're black, and they think black means African, but it doesn't. See,
Exactly.
that's the confusion.
Exactly. 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 I mean, you hit that on the head. That's exactly. So, I don't think that when we were saying we were black, we were really even claiming Africa. I think, black meant to a lot of people because I know my ancestors. My grandmother told me my grandmother literally told me when I was very young, which is very, I guess relevant today, that the reason why she loves being black and she considers herself black, is because it means that you don't know where you came from, but you're consisted of everything. You know what I'm saying? Everything. And I kind of liked when she how she told me, and that's not exactly how she said it, but you know, because my grandmother has told me like what she was told before she started traveling, doing her ancestry, past her grandmothers and stuff. So, and by the way, my grandmother's my great grandmother, my grandmother told me, and it makes sense to me because I thought, I was like, you wasn't living during slavery, but my great grandmother, yes, was a one of the victims that was on a plantation after slavery ended and um still looked at, or still uh lived as a slave for a period of time after slavery ended. Like that was my great grandmother. You know what I'm saying? My grandmother, what I'm saying, has recollection of all of that. So and that was interesting. So it's like, and it's realistic. Some people can't fathom that. They just think that boom, 1865, slavery done, and they don't realize that there was many states, um,
Well,
even
there's
though the
no
13th
way
Amendment.
to get the information. We didn't have the same information the way that we have. We had people saying, hear ye on a horse. So how are we going to know? How would we know this?
that
We
that that
can't even
person on
get
the horse will probably
messages
be
out now, and we have the internet, and we have problems
like, right,
getting messages out.
right, yo, that's a good point right there. That is a good point. Boom, bomb drop. You know, You would think that with all the information we have access to, the internet and then social media with us, like people actually saying stuff like, boom, you'll get it. But I mean, look, and that's why I give so much praise and glory to our activists, and I hate when people like try to criticize them because, like I said, like these people had national demonstrations. Do you know what that means? We try to get a national demonstration going on right now. I mean, yesterday we just experienced, what I'm saying, like somewhat of, I guess, would be considered a national demonstration, but I don't know how effective it was with Al Sharpton. And even that wasn't even like led, with the same efficacy that they had historically in this country. So yeah, that's all I have, man. Thanks for having me. Good room once again, Professor, and on the spots. And that's where I'm gonna stop at.
No doubt, no doubt. Let's see. Tyrell, did you get a chance to talk? Tyrell HM. All right. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Tyrell. Tyrell, come off mute. Ladies and gentlemen, while we were waiting on Tyrell to come off mute, if you check in the Jumbotron, you'll see Wani Spots. Momentarily, you'll see Wani Spots and Nikki the God's Cash App. Do show them love for all their dedication and scholarship. Shortly after that, you'll see mine, wherein you can purchase a copy of my book for $25. Put $25 on Cash App with your full mailing address, and I'll send a copy of your book out tomorrow. I had a large number of books earlier this week of people who purchased. Thank you. And your books will go out tomorrow. Again, you put $25 on Cash App and put your full address and zip code in the Cash App info line, and I'll send you your copy out tomorrow. If you want me to sign it or anything like that, put that in the info line as well. Mm.
I like how you did that. That sounded like a straight up real commercial.
That's funny. I got quiet because I was struggling with X for a minute trying to scroll up. Hey Wells, and what's on your mind, love?
Hi, everybody. Good evening. How's everyone doing?
Doing well, believe it or
Good,
not.
good, good. I wanted to just attach onto what Wani was talking about with James Hemings, Sally Hemings' brother, who was the gentleman that was Thomas Jefferson's chef and who was solely responsible for bringing French cuisine to the United States. Not only did he bring French cuisine to the United States, he also made brandied peaches, which is what people eat to this day. But he also brought the way the French dressed the table and how the flatware was set, on certain sides and certain, flatware was used for certain things. You know, he was preeminent of his day. But there was also another unsung hero. His name, it was, oh my God, it's Hercules Posey. He was the chef for George Washington, and he
Wow.
was a most sought and most lauded chef of his time at Mount Vernon. He actually, after years of being George Washington's chef, he ran away and he was never captured. There were speculations that he might have been in Canada or somewhere upstate New York. But bottom line is that he ran away and never were recaptured. So I just want to share that with you.
Interesting. I want to get rid of eliminate this myth of hard work. That there's been a myth put on Black Americans by uh, particularly West Africans. Dr. Claude Anderson calls it the myth of hard work. Um, or WAC. I say WAC, but there's a myth that Black Americans don't work hard when we're the hardest, most innovative group of people on the planet. Claude Anderson um, puts it really clear when he says, quote, lazy slave myth through the term lazy slave is an oxymoron. A lazy slave would have a difficult time surviving under the inhuman conditions of American slavery. So first and foremost, calling an enslaved person lazy is a goddamn oxymoron. I love how Clyde puts it like that. Slaves don't have the luxury of being lazy. What do you mean? We need to start checking people on on the words and terminology that they you use. You don't know how many times I've heard that um my lineage is lazy. I heard it at the college I just left. Like, y'all, black American students are lazy. And I'm like, you over here at our goddamn college saying that, but I digress. Dr. Anderson says stripping people of their fruits of their labor takes away the primary motive for them to work. And that's basically what we're looking at. Anderson further says, absent personal compensation, what were the incentive for the slave to work harder? They would have been emancipated or received compensations or reparations um, uh, for doing so. Anderson says, who was lazy? The white slave masters bragged about building a wealthy aristocracy that could devote its time to a leisurely life and the study of art, philosophy, and finer things. Um, Basically, before I read you a paragraph and give you a long diatribe. Um, wow. Um, anyway, just to make it clear, what happened, if I could summarize, Dr. Anderson, is by making Black Americans forcing us to build the White House and to build the foundation of America, and then blocking us out of the fruits of the labors. a labor of such. They created an attitude of fuck it. I'm not gonna do it because if I do it, you're not gonna pay me anyway. So it's kind of like a it's psychological warfare. It was cleverly put together by the white supremacists. But in conclusion, Black Americans are the hardest working group in America. We built the foundation a lot of times at the cost of our lives and the cost of our health. And in conclusion, the term lazy slave is a goddamn oxymoron, like Dr. Claude Anderson said. Tyrell, are you up yet? So I just saw somebody Miss Cunningham. I think I you came up you know who I'm talking about. Cunningham, look at Cash App and look at the make sure you have your address in Cash App. I think that was the issue, is your address wasn't in there. Furthermore, if you ordered a book and you don't think you put your address in Cash App, make sure you upload your full address, because I had a couple names that didn't have an address on Cash App. Um, let's see. Urban, hold on, we're gonna go to urban political. I don't know where he went. Did somebody let him up?
He just
Urban
disappeared.
politics. Yeah, what's that about? That's so weird. The app's acting weird. Um, Tyrell, is your thing fixed yet? Going once, going twice. Tyrell, can you hear me? 69 cent. What's on your mind? Go ahead, 69.
Peace and blessings to the room. How you doing, everybody?
Oh, wonderful, brother. It's good to see you. Educate us. What's on
Oh,
your
y'all
mind?
been educating me. I appreciate all the speakers. I've just been listening and soaking up the game. Thank you so much. Um, I just wanted to say something real quick and just add to what I posted in the Purple Pill. My mother was a herbalist, and just like most of our um, healers, one she did with herbs or root work, but she also has Reiki, real Reiki. It's something unfortunate now that is left her body since she recently had a stroke. But when growing up, when she would touch me, you could just feel the electricity coming through her hands, the energy. And the reason I bring that up is because we are of the soil. Some of the other spaces we talked about how our skin tone would match the soil if it was black soil, rich black soil, or red clay. You know, different places. We were literally of the soil and how we ate the soil as well. But it's even deeper than that. When I was growing up, I went to a Native American day school with a Yamasee chief here in Georgia named Derek Sanders. Um, and when I was 13, I went on a um, uh, Native American. Give me 1 second. Let me get my words straight here. It was a medicine walk, and it was a Blackfoot elder that took me through and showed me each plant and how it connected to the ecosystem, how it fed and protected us, and what it did in your body if you manipulated it. And so I wanted to talk about George Washington Carver because we do more than just food. You know, there's root work, there's healing. It brings us together. They even made a movie about it a little bit with soul food, but we also, uh, with those type of elders, we know it on a scientific level as well. It's not just healing, but we actually can create from it as alchemical. Um, I would say alchemical scientists. He said he listened to the plants and they told them what to do and how to manipulate them. So, I just wanted to mention that part as well. Um, I would say how to eat to live as well. Posted that because that's important. You don't necessarily have to subscribe to the Nation of Islam. But we always take things and we bring it to another level. And some of these foods in these countries are kind of, I want to be respectful. They're they come out of times of war and savagery, and for whatever reasons they haven't modernized. They haven't. They're not living in that sense. They're still stuck in those periods of savagery, and that it comes out in how they, don't use utensils or haven't modernized the food in a way to where it's a global phenomenon. And I just wanted to mention those things.
Why is that? Why do you think 69 is man, first and foremost, you've been like such a blessing to the stage the last couple of spaces, man. Your insight, I was bragging on you earlier, your insight really um filled in some missing spaces in my scholarship. I was like, oh man, that's why this happened. But back to tonight, why do you think that and we're all being respectful here. Why do you think that certain people in Africa have a arrested development, West Africa, excuse me, have a perceived arrested development? Why is it stuck into that stage of eating with their hands? I want to put in the jumbotron. It's gonna take a little time to show y'all because a lot of y'all weren't in here earlier when we were talking about soul food, and I posited that West African food ain't got nothing to do with Black American food, like totally unrelated. It tasted so unfamiliar that at the fancy restaurants that we ate, I'm talking about the West African equivalent of like a five-star joint. There was no place to wash my hands like a sink. You had to wash your hands in a bowl. And I know a lot of people don't have a concept to understand that. But I'm gonna place some when I find a picture and put it in the Jumbotron. But 69, why do you think they was it the trauma of colonization that stuck them into arrested development? Because what we know from psychology is that a traumatic event can stunt your growth. For instance, if you're let's say you're 16 years old and you have a traumatic event, you can kind of get stuck at 16. Um, you know what I'm saying? So my theory is that during colonization they kind of got stuck. Am I? You think it's some validity to my theory, or do you?
It's interesting you bring that up, and I think it's pretty simple. I mean, I could try to, as you were asking the question, I was trying to think. Well, in the epigenetics and the DNA, even if you have all of your your medicine men and women, if they're killed or your ancient records destroyed, which I mean we've had the same, it should just come back in future generations, through your blood, right? That's what I would assume. But it's greater than that. It's more simple than any of these type of hypotheses we can come up. The problem is, I'm not sure if it was always like that, but they hold on to these societal norms. Some of them are tied to religion, where they repress their women. They repress their
Mm,
women. It's imbalanced. It is imbalanced. I'm not, look, I'm not trying to. Um, I, I, I'm into balance. I think men should lead. And I think a balanced woman knows, and a smart woman picks a great man to lead. But he also balances the equation by, seeing her intuition and wisdom as well, or seeking out female women who are teachers, because they teach the children. So it's a back and forth, and they're in balance because they repress their women. One of the pictures that I posted, and I hope that the room can receive. One of the other elders was, Dr. Sabi, and I put his full name in there too, just to show. His name was Alfredo Bowman, and I looked up his parents too. Their last name was Bowman as well. But he had to come here to the Americas to get it popping, and he was one of those type of scientists as well. So
His name
yeah, yeah,
Alfredo.
he was born in Honduras. But he's
Okay.
Afro, South American. You know what I mean? So we didn't just make food. and it wasn't just with slavery, which we did our thing. Um, chitlins aside, right? Ham, hog, pig feet, all that good stuff, right? But um, you know, because of repressing the women, I think that they're imbalanced, and also part of what you're saying too. They a lot of them they come into our rooms and they speak to us in a um, sort of demeaning way, and it comes from that sort of machismo, or what's the male sort of uh, authoritarian,
Authoritative. I struggle with that word. Authoritarian. Authority. Why can't I talk
Authoritarian.
today?
Really? No,
paternalistic.
Authoritarian.
I can't
They
say
they
Yeah.
it.
they speak real. They try to
Can't say
son
it.
us. They try to father. Like son us like a father speaking paternalistically down, and it's like no, no, it's not like that. You're imbalanced because you don't respect your women, and that shows up in the food. It shows up in the food. Last thing, one of the pictures I posted, and reason I brought up South American Dr. Sabi is when I was in college, I took a anthropology class, and my professor brought up this South American deity, and it has a woman, which like half of her body is rooted into the ground, and then she has corn or maize growing out of her hands. It's very hard to find that artifact. It's probably because that Brazilian museum burned down, so a lot of information was lost in 2018. But um, that's where you get the connection to the earth, which is the woman. That's what they're missing.
Is that the Pachamama?
Pachamama. I could. It's some weird. It's some weird name that
You
I
said
saw.
South American. You want me to look
Mainly Brazilian.
that? Oh, let me look up that one then.
Okay, you probably can find it, but yeah, usually, if it's correct, it's you have mainly just the torso, maybe a part of the knee sticking up out of the ground. I'm talking about the ancient sculpture, and then she has corn or maize growing up out of her hands to represent how she takes the seeds, and she does the horticulture, and and she's a scientist, just like my mother was. She healed people. She went around the world. Healing people, and some celebrities and things like that, they would come to her. um, but that's what she did, and I drank those nasty tinctures and things like that, and it did exactly what she said. You know what I'm saying? That's part of who we are as well. Plus it tastes good. Mm.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I love it. Thank you on 6 9. Um, okay, thank you. um, I wanted to really show y'all something. If you look in the jumbotron, I have two pictures. Now, one, you see a hand with a what appears to be a like a water jug, a teapot, or something. That's a hand of one of the people at our table washing washing our hands. So this is a five-star restaurant at a gorgeous resort in the middle of El Paso. Um, washing our hands like it was a teapot full of water and a bowl. And there was no place to wash our hands, no sink. You stuck your hand in the bowl and you needed somebody to take the teapot and pour cold water over your hands. And that's why I was saying I just never felt like my hands were clean enough to eat with my hands. Last but not least, Wani Spots made a comment about and I'm paraphrasing our dear sister, but she said something along the lines of Jollof rice is French, and she I perceived Wani to say that to mean that food in West Africa, a lot of it was really European food, which goes back to that time of colonization. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look at the jumbotron, um, at the first picture, you see a whole bunch of food that was prepared for us deep in Ghana. And if you zoom in on it, you'll see that the food, which they claim to be African food, they said we had and this was expensive, by the way. We paid for it. They had authentic African meal for us, right? Because if we wanted authentic African food, West African food, what's the first damn thing you see on that authentic African food platter? French fries. French fries ain't no African food.
They don't. They won't
French,
put their real food. I'm telling you right
dude,
now, they don't have it. That's why they don't have a cookbook. They're not going to put their food
Juan,
up there.
Juan, it's that finessing that Tariq talk about. We paid all that goddamn money for them to give us an authentic African meal. Look up under the goddamn French fries. Nigga, that's fried rice, goddamn it.
Now you might.
I'm dead serious. Look at
This
that
is how
shit.
I treat countries like that. I use their spice blends and I put it on my stuff to get the flavor of the region. That's basically all you can do. Then maybe you can come, get us. But I don't like their spices. I don't have West African spices in my cabinet, and I have almost everybody's spice in there, but I don't have theirs.
I don't know what a West African spice is.
Right. They don't have a developed cuisine. They're just making that up. And then they're coming over here and they're saying that their food is fusion to ours. It's like, no, we don't have a bowl of zebra testicles. It doesn't have anything to do with us. I mean, their food is not like, it's not a developed cuisine.
No, I mean, you if you look at that food we ordered, um you'll see goddamn French fries. Look up under the French fries. It's covered in plastic. Fried rice. Literally some Chinese fried rice. You got some fried chicken. Got a Caribbean dish. Like none of that food that they gave us was African, and they said we have a authentic West African meal prepared for you. Is everything a finesse in West Africa?
Well, a lot of places want to, now that they've been thrust onto the global scene and they got caught with their drawers down, having nasty food. So they're trying to just craft these fake cuisines. And who, I know who has what food, and I know where the food comes from. So yeah, there's some of these places don't have a cuisine. They're just trying to lie and use what you think their cuisine should be based on, past things that they've been associated with. But no, they just don't have that. They don't have these very developed cuisines because half of the population is still eating things that we don't want to eat, things that we would turn our nose up at, animals that we have in the house as pets, and they're eating them. So, no, I mean, they're not going to show you what they're really eating. They're not going to take you to a rat farm, they're not going to take you to a dog farm. And the same thing with some of the Asian countries. They try to sneak some of those things in, crickets and all kinds of bugs. Um, and they're not going to convince the average American to eat those things.
Right, right. And what Wani said is very true because when I went to Hotel Elisa, which is a very swanky, it's near the embassies, the US embassies in Ghana. And it was a real nice hotel, by the way. But they had this elaborate, I was starved, and they had this elaborate, beautiful looking breakfast, and they had the chefs with the pretty hats on, and it looked legit. But when I saw bugs and shit on them plates, I marched my ass right back to the hotel room. I didn't eat shit. Um, Lamadu, what's on your
Hilarious.
Hello.
Lamadu? I think I say your
Yeah,
name right.
yeah. I mean, you close enough, bro.
Oh, okay, what's on your mind, man?
Um, I just jumped in here and I just heard some some wild shit. So I wanted to know, like, is this like a troll? Are y'all trolling in here?
No,
Wild shit. How so?
Just some of the stuff you were saying about like West Africa not having a developed cuisine,
they
and
don't.
then I heard no the thing that really got me was when you said Jollof rice comes from France, and I was like,
It
huh?
didn't come from
Yes,
France.
it
It came
does.
from
Yes,
French
sir, it does.
colonists.
What
Sir,
evidence do you
sir,
have of
sir.
this?
Them
Well,
saying it out of
hold
their
on, hold on.
mouths.
Well, sir, you're with all due respect, sir, I don't say anything. I'm a scholar. I back up everything I say with textual evidence. If you would politely look in the jumbotron, you'll see the food I'm talking about. That was in either Accra, Apostle, Hohoi, or Nigeria. So these are dishes presented by
Wait,
um,
which one is it? Which
West
place
Africa.
is it? This picture.
Uh, I said either. So the first picture is in Ghana, in Accra, near
Okay.
Osu.
And what does it have to do with their food? Just because a restaurant somewhere is serving a certain dish doesn't mean that's where they're saying
Sir,
where it
sir,
came
sir,
from.
sir, with all due respect, it would help you to actually listen to what people are saying. I said we paid a lot of money for authentic African food, and they brought us goddamn French
Well,
fries. French fries are from
I'm not
France.
denying the fact you paid a buku amount of money. I don't know what the
Well, let's get
situation
back to
was.
this. Let's
All
get
I
back
was
to
saying was that, like, if we're talking about,
let's get back to Pinda my bay's comments about how that rice came to be, since you have an issue with that. So anyway, like we were saying, French colonial Africa, they imported broken rice from Indochina to replace an inferior species of rice that Africa has. And this French colonial West Africa, they had a chef named Pinda, and she was making a one pot style dish with barley, okay? And she ran out of barley, so they said use rice. And she said, okay. And then she started putting some other ingredients in that are not native to Africa. The name of the rice is a French name. It has a French name. And then when the French
Facts.
receded, then they took it and called it Wolof rice or Jollof rice. So yeah, we're not making that up. You want to look up Penda? Penda, Mbay.
Why is it so dry though, Ronnie?
I've never had it. It
I've never had it either, but I can look at it and I can
yeah,
look
they
at some
can't
rice and
cook.
tell.
They
Mm.
I had Wolof, I had Jollof all across West Africa. I had it in up north Ghana, Togo. I had it in Nigeria. I had it in Cape Coast, and it tastes a variation from tasting like absolutely nothing to tasting like smoke. It was not
yeah, because of
good.
the seasonings. Now, if you can provide a cookbook from that area that predates 1848 when we created our food, showing that they
where
have a
is this
cuisine.
information readily available for one to read?
I just gave you the woman's
Sir,
name.
are you not comprehending English?
No. Where are you from? Where are you from?
Where am I from? I'm
Yeah.
asking a question.
Where are you from?
Oh, here you go. He about to cry to the niggas.
Phone check, homie.
I'm not crying to anybody.
Where are you from?
I was born in Lagos, Nigeria.
Well, then shut the
There we
hell up.
go.
You are
That's it.
dismissed. You have
This
no food. You eat boiled zebra dicks. So go on somewhere.
and your passport is rejected.
Yep. And we
I
want you
was literally
deported.
born a U.S. citizen. I was.
Nobody cares. We getting rid of that too. We getting rid of all that. And you.
Yeah, he an anchor baby.
I'm getting rid of them anchor babies.
My mom is a U.S. My entire.
I don't give a damn what you say. We pulling up those anchors and throwing that shit in the ocean.
So
Goodbye.
my main question is, what do we gain?
God damn.
Goodbye.
Hey man, it ain't no we. Who is we?
What,
We
What
okay,
are we
what is there to be
gaining?
gained from?
getting rid of you.
What is there to gain from that? You guys
Getting
eat
rid of
zebra
you. I
dicks.
just said getting rid of you.
Go- I kicked his ass down, man. Hey, learn how to listen, son. Why these my Nigerians got all this goddamn mouth?
And that's it.
And he start you know how the little babies be like they get ready to start crying. He almost get to whine and cry for you niggas.
Goodbye. Rolling up in here yelling.
I no no. I need to see evidence. I'm posting
Gave
all
them
these
the
goddamn
name.
pictures.
And they don't have a
What's that?
developed cuisine. Like we were saying, it's a lot of slop and bushmeat and balls that no one understands. Our women are
Like,
looking at
ladies
those,
and
looking like, when are you going to cook it?
ladies and gentlemen, Black Americans, that served as an example of I'm West African and I say so. They so obsessed with that white Jesus and that white savior complex that they acting like trying their best to act like white people. Wani and I, our whole space is based off of citation. That's the whole space. All these citations we given, I pride myself. I got a academic reputation to defend. I'm putting pictures. I'm giving citations. I'm saying scholars' last names, page numbers, and he talking about where the evidence. Nigga, I just don't see any
They
evidence.
never do.
I could have somebody send him some goddamn Uber eat some Nigerian food, and he'll say, "No, no, this is not Nigerian food. This is not real Nigerian. This I'm West African, and I say so." And we tired of that shit.
I mean, that's why that Nigerian so-called chef is running around talking about, you know, Nigerian food is the roots of so that means Nigerians created American food, which makes no sense. They don't have anything to do with it. They have nothing to do with anything. They don't even have a cuisine. They're just making that up based on what you think. Oh, fried fish or whatever. What is that? Everybody has that. You can't use fish as a cuisine. You have to show a collection of things together. A cuisine is a collection of things that taste good together. Cornbread and greens. These are things, you know, beans and these things all together. It's a synthesis. You don't just throw a bug-eyed fish on the plate and say, "Oh, this is our cuisine." That everybody has a fish. Everybody has a fish. You can't, that's not a cuisine. Okay, sorry for that rant.
No, no, it's true, and it's frustrating, Wani, because we come in here giving citation and been for about an hour saying the same thing on repeat, and then he come here and say, "Where the evidence?" I'm like, "Have you not been listening to us? Are you not looking?" Like, I
And
don't. I'm,
still begging to get on the stage to be roasted again. Why?
should I bring him up to hear what he got to say?
Let's,
Bring him up, but if he, get on his ass too.
you want Dr. Bushmeat? Yeah, let's just see what he has to say.
Yes,
Am I back
Lamadu.
on?
Yeah.
Let's spell this dish.
So
I
like as you
E.
guys are talking, I'm trying to do research. Like I'm
You're spazzing out. Let me spell the name of the dish. Thieboudienne. That is the name of the French dish. French.
It says here this is the national dish of Senegal.
So it's a French dish with a French name. You don't have any food. Now go sit down
So
somewhere.
they may have been. I mean, I understand they were colonized by the French, but that doesn't
Well,
mean that
now
that
you
wasn't.
are dismissed. Thank you very much.
We can't even.
You don't have any food. Shut up.
He's getting ready to cry.
He gonna cry in the car. Watch.
Hey, Stacy, what's going on?
I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I had to say that. I know I see other hands up, so they could go. I couldn't help myself.
No, you can go. Go ahead, Stacy.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
It's been so long. I've been kind of coming in late in spaces and listening to y'all lately. I needed a break. I needed to just oh, just like regroup and ooh, child. Um, but I was like, it's been a while. I need to get back in and sharing some of this FBA time, and y'all never fail to entertain me, teach me something. I'm always learning something. The scholarship, man, y'all. And then that the 6'9" dude that's been in here lately. Oh my gosh. I just um yeah,
I've been working so much. Been missing him and having to catch him on the replays.
yeah, it's like I haven't even had time to listen to the replays. But I don't know. Oh, you know what? I don't know if you guys heard the last week when I was in Tariq's space and then he had called on me and I was saying that my son was on his way. He had just had a birthday with
Oh
him.
yeah, that was hilarious. I heard it.
Man, let me tell you something.
Was it true?
Was what true? Was my son banging that girl?
Yeah. I guess that I shouldn't be asking
I
mama that. My
don't
bad.
know. But let me tell you
my,
something.
my bad. I shouldn't be
Oh
asking
no,
a
that's
mama
okay.
that.
That's okay.
No, tell the story. No,
Oh,
go ahead.
I don't know. I didn't because let me tell you something. Him and her, they've been friends for a while, and I feel so naive because I know my son. You know, when he first lost his virginity, I asked him about it. You know, I seen a hickey. I said, "You been having sex?" And he was like 17, and he tried to say once, and I'm side eyeing him like, "Okay, I know you done it more than once. You lying to me, but you probably embarrassed. I'm gonna let it go." But I just told him, be safe, strap up, all that good stuff. If a girl tell you she on the pill, don't believe her. She very well may be, but she might be a little careless. Or just make sure that don't help disease. Just make sure you safe. Don't bring me no grandkids. And I told him, I said, if you're going to have sex with someone, make sure you're in a position to take care of a family because if something happens, that's your family now. You don't get to walk away. You have a child and you're gonna have to take care of of all of y'all. So he has not brought me any grandkids yet. Thank God. He does want to get married
So
first.
he listens to you.
He
He listens to you, right?
does.
That's what it sounds
Well,
like.
well,
Yeah.
here's the funny thing. So when he first told me he was gonna start doing what his job, he's a property management. And he was telling me about the girl who helped him get the job. He told me that she used to work in our apartments, and I was like, I don't remember her. So, but I'm just like, okay, oh well, And when he started working at the out here in California, she had moved. She helped him get the job, and then she moved to Alaska. So one day I'm over there at his house, and they're FaceTiming, taking shots together on the phone. So I'm thinking, okay, y'all friends or whatever. But I was like, y'all like each other? Y'all talking? Or y'all dating? Or what's going on? He's like, no, we're just friends. He's like, Mom, she likes white guys. She doesn't like black guys. We're just good friends. I'm like, okay, that's whatever. And I've seen girls he's dated before, so unless he's serious, he doesn't really introduce me to them. If they're friends, they're friends. If there's somebody he's seeing, and he really like her and is ready for me to meet her, he'll introduce me. If she ain't something that and he just hitting it, then she'll be in and out of the house, and he don't introduce me, like, she ain't worth meeting, Mom. I just hit that. So with this girl, that I was like, I did pose those questions to him, and he was just like, "Nah, Mom, she don't like me like that." Okay. And then he went to visit, and when he went to fly out there, the first time he went to visit Alaska a couple years ago, he liked it. He had a good time. He stayed with her and her dude, and I'm like, if she like white guys, boy, you better watch your back. I don't trust. Don't be so trusting with everybody because he might get jealous. He might be wondering, what's going on. They've bought him gifts. They've, done stuff for him. Eventually him and, she had called him and was like, hey, there's an apartment complex that needs a manager. And he thought, well, this is a better opportunity because out here in California, he still has to pay rent. He gets a discount, but he still has to pay. Alaska, not only does he get a stipend, but he gets free rent and he has a bigger place. And then the situation he was in out here, he let my nephew stay with him, and it was just drama. My nephew wasn't helping keep up his end of the bargain like they agreed. And so my son was like, you know what, it's a fresh start. I'm gonna go on out there. So now he's in Alaska. Well, then he had the girl, I guess her and her dude broke up. She then got with another white dude. And then my son even told me, he's like, she kind of, when they first broke up, I guess she got low self esteem and she out there hoeing around and just sleeping around. And he's like, oh, hell no. I don't want to mess with that because, that's what she be out there doing. And now I guess she done found her a new dude. But he was telling me that, she surprised him. She said, oh, I got a surprise for you. I got you a ticket to Hawaii. And I was like, she must make good money. She do make more than him. They do the same job, but she's doing it longer. So she makes more. She bought his ticket. She bought her mama's ticket. Her mom's birthday is 2 days after my son. So I'm like, okay, y'all going to Hawaii. And I'm paranoid. I'm like, just be careful, be careful, be careful. Watch your back. Um, they went, they had a good time. He's home safe, thank God. But when I said all this to preface that night, I was listening to the space. Now, I put my phone on my headboard so I don't accidentally roll over on it and touch it because I know I'm going to fall asleep. I fell asleep, and all of a sudden, something woke me up. I hear my name, Miss Stacy, get on, unmute your phone, Miss Stacy. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, I didn't even press the button to get on. You want to know what I felt though? Because all these planes, and I felt like I needed to be on that call. That was meant. I really truly feel like the ancestors made sure I was able to get, and because my whole thing was I need the Majora prayer on my son. I need y'all, everybody, somebody, my FBA family to look out. The Lancers look out for my baby while he's on this trip. And I felt like even though I didn't press the button, the fact that I got uh, called to speak on there was meant to be. I really truly felt that in my soul. Um, but it was crazy because when he started asking those questions, and I listened to the playback, and I felt so I was discombobulated kind of anyway, but I was nevertheless I was gonna ask. I was like, hey, say the Machara prayer for my baby. But
You were nervous,
I
Stacia, because of
was.
the were you nervous because of the plane?
Yes, some of that because everybody kept talking about all these planes keep falling off the sky. And I was like, no, nah, we gonna try to stay positive and my son, he'll be safe. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It is that same time. I don't know if you heard me on the space, but no, it was a different space before I got on. Um, my
Hmm.
mom flew out of town. She was going to
Hmm.
Philly. She was getting on a plane, and we were all nervous about that.
Hmm.
Well, she got on a plane, Stacy, and when she flew back from Philly, the flight got canceled because something malfunctioned and the cabin filled up with smoke. They had to ground the plane, and they got the plane severely. It
Oh
was on
my
takeoff. The
God.
plane severely malfunctioned. The whole cabin filled up with smoke. They had to send everybody out the plane on slides, like the thing. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
wow.
Right. They bought my mom a hotel. Like I don't know what the hell is going on with these airplanes.
Right. But it was just so funny that that happened that day. But I mean, and I'm glad he, made the jokes and was clowning. And I mean, it I slept really good that night. After I felt better, you know. Um, but yeah, anyway, this my son, he's home, he's safe now. I actually go out there. I'll be out there and shoot. I was counting down like, dang, 5 weeks. I'm gonna be out there visiting him. Oh, and the girl, she gets on the phone. I'm calling. I mean, every day I'm checking on this boy. How's the flight going? How's your, you know, what are y'all doing today? He put her on the phone. Well, he put it on speaker. He's like, Mom, you're on speaker. So he was probably, I think he was warning me, like, don't say nothing crazy, Mom, because she can hear you. I got you on speaker. So, and all of a sudden I hear, hi, Mom. I said, oh, Lord, don't do the mom thing. But all his friends call me mom. So I'm like, don't read too much into it. But I was like, please don't bring me back no grand. I'm just not. Oh my god.
And knowing damn well if you get them grandbabies, you spoiling them
You
anyway.
right, because it's my baby, it's my son, and it'll be he's my only child too. So
Wow.
yeah. Oh, side note, I just got off work on the way home. Parking lot pimping, bunch of Mexicans. I wanted to call ICE, but I'm thinking I'm in California, and I don't even think they're gonna do nothing. But I did call the police. I did call 911 and tell them that there's a bunch of people out there in the parking lot acting a fool and causing a ruckus and playing, I don't know if they was doing like donuts in the parking lot, but they, you
No,
know
they
how they
better
screech their
settle
tires.
down. They better settle down before we
Oh
call
yeah,
them
and
laws.
I
Holler, whoop,
called.
whoop.
I called 911. I did on the way home. I
About to
said,
call
"Well,
them
how long
laws.
y'all?" I said, "How long before y'all get up there and disperse all these kids up there?" And I told them too. I said, "And there's liquor. I seen liquor. I don't know how young these kids are, but somebody had a big old fat ass buzz ball. You don't think I reported that real quick? I sure did. I snitched. I don't
They
care.
need to go
They
back
ain't
under the
FBA."
rock. They need to go back under the rock where they belong. Hide out.
And speaking of these doggone Nigerians, these I don't know why somebody keeps
Um,
hiring them to do
hey Miss
security.
and Miss Stacy, are you in California?
Yes, I am.
Oh yeah, how you heard about CJAC and what's going on over there?
Who?
CJAC,
What's that?
it's the
See,
California
Jeff.
reparations.
Go ahead.
Oh, you know what? I think I heard a little bit of something about them trying to do something. Um, I probably should look into it more. It's just like
What
who's in
state?
charge
What
because
city
I
are
don't
you in California?
Sacramento.
Oh yeah,
I'm at the capital.
you're in the heart of it. You in the capital. Yep.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yes, I
so
am.
oh, you talk about the Africans though. See, I just came back from Japan. So out there in Tokyo, they have this black-owned soul food restaurant. I thought he was an African though, but he's actually a brother from South Carolina that in Georgia that opened up a soul food restaurant. He been living in Japan. Him and his wife been living in Japan for 20 years, but they been opening that soul food restaurant for going on 10 years. So yeah, it's a bomb soul food restaurant. And soul food restaurant is so packed out there is that you have to have an appointment to go to that soul food restaurant. That's how good it is over there.
Oh wow, you actually gotta
Yeah, but
make a
they
reservation.
yeah, you have to make a reservation. I'm gonna put it in the Jumbotron. I just put it in the Jumbotron now for y'all to see it though. But yeah, wherever you go to Tokyo, Japan, that's the brother soul food restaurant. Yeah, it's real packed though. Every time I
Oh, I
went in
think I
there,
did. I don't know if that was you or somebody else might have been telling Tariq about that once before recently, or
no, it
like
wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, but yeah, it was
somebody else
my
had mentioned that.
yeah, but that soul food restaurant, one of the best soul food restaurants in Japan, especially in Tokyo area, because they do got a lot of black foundational black Americans that it's in the military that moved to Japan in Tokyo and Osaka and Kyoto. That's where all the black people stay at in Tokyo. I was in Japan for like 8 days though. So yeah, yeah, it's a cool place though. And they are culture is practiced everywhere in Japan though, especially you go to places like over there in Tokyo. I'll be seeing people wearing afros, stuff like that, people having cornrows and fades and stuff like that, people rapping out there. So you but
Well, I was saying
also
about the. Oh, I was gonna say I was gonna finish up my thought
yeah, go ahead,
about.
Miss Stacy.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Earlier when y'all was talking about like these cultures and how 6ix9ine was saying about the imbalance. That is so evident. My second job that I go to, and I don't understand why they have hired um these. I think they're Nigerian company to do our security. I cannot stand them. And the one that works today, I think he's like 20 years old. He checks out every female to walk through. He's staring at their booty. It's so cringe. He even told me one day he likes my walk. I'm looking at him like, dude, I could be your mama. I wouldn't want to be because yeah. But today I had to roast his ass because I was giving him his break and he was late. I looked at my watch and they kill me because they try to lie. They lie to your face and they think you a damn fool. That's like I'm looking at him like, dude, you are the most disrespectful person because you think I'm stupid. I looked at the time. I saw when you went on your break. You late. mean, this might be TMI, but I had to pee. I'm like, taking
Dr.
too long.
Bushmeat,
Hurry
what are
up.
you trying to say?
Huh?
Dr. Bushmeat. Go ahead, Dr. Bushmeat. What are you trying to say?
Oh no, I was laughing at Miss Station. It's people
Oh,
like
okay.
they kicked me out of
I-
space for some reason, and I
well,
couldn't
the
get back in.
other, oh, okay.
Did you say Doctor Bushmeat?
Dr. Bushmeat. That's so funny sounding. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up real quick. But yeah, I just had to roast them. Some of the other ladies, they're like the other people that work with me, white and Mexican, and they'll take his bull crap. But me, I just don't. And I mean, shoot, I'm FBA. Of course, I ain't taking that shit. But I had to clown him today, and I went off on him because he tried to lie, dude. Just apologize and say that you was wrong and don't do it again. Don't sit up here and argue with me and try to convince me that you went at a certain time when I sat there and I clocked you, and I knew I did because I did it for a reason because I had to take my break when you got back. So, but anyway, yeah, that's it. I know their pattern, and I just can't stand it. And I every time I see so many of these people around, I'm starting to see it more. And I just keep thinking, God, I can't wait till they get the hell up out of here. I just go. I don't care where they go, but you got to get the hell up out of here. That's it. And
And Miss
I'm gonna go ahead
Stacy,
and land. Uh-huh.
Somebody on Tariq's stage the other day said it so beautifully. It was a lady. She said something like, I'm paraphrasing. She was like, "Black Americans are like the movie The Body Snatchers. Like they almost got away with the plot, but we woke up while they still was in a cocoon."
I just heard that this morning. I was listening to that
Yep.
playback. Yes, and I've never seen that, but I mean, I kind of was able to relate to that. Like, yeah, that sounds about right. And they're pissed off that that we foiled their plan.
Yeah, yeah, I saw it when I was a little boy. That's exactly what happened. They were about to wake up and take the world over, but they woke up. The scientists found them while they were about to wake up. So that really is a good analogy. Stacey, it's good to see you again. Please come back. I haven't seen
and
you in a
Thank
minute.
you.
also
I miss
Uh,
y'all.
and also
we hold on to Black. We're gonna go in order.
That wasn't me.
Next person to speak, was it
No, I'm
you?
talking about that wasn't me.
Oh, no, no, no. That wasn't you. I don't got my glasses on. That was that wasn't me. Who was that said that? Black Vanguard.
You can
yeah.
tell I got a lot of
I
root
don't
whooping.
I don't see you, but I hear you. You weren't next, brother. I was just saying who was that? I don't see you. That's crazy.
This
That
app
is
is
weird.
acting
Okay,
crazy. Wait, who are
yeah,
you
this app
looking
acting
for?
crazy. I was seeing the black receipt was next.
He's Dr. Bushman now.
Oh, see, it don't say that to me. It say the black receipt part two.
It's probably
Oh,
my.
he might have changed his thing.
No, I had to change accounts because they kicked me out the room soon as y'all let me up, and it said
Yeah.
the space was closed. I posted a picture in the chat, but yeah, yeah, this space
Weird.
X been tripping all day.
Bro, hey, Dr. Bushman, I swear to God, I just was looking at your other, like you just changed in
Okay,
front of me. That's so weird.
that's crazy.
Yeah, go ahead,
But yeah,
Bushman.
saying that Africans created soul food is so disrespectful. I feel like until they can make some bushmeat souffle or some jollof in a proper manner, like some dirty rice, then I give them a little validity. But until then, that shit is outback zebra back that I don't want no parts of. I don't know what they come up with these fantastical ideas or narratives to try to usurp our history and our culture, but they just need to stop it. It's getting desperate. It's giving off uh, what we call the Asian people some body snatcher vibes, because that's kind of how I feel about Asian people. They study us too much, and I don't know if they need to get some tips from the little Japanese people on how to mirror us better, but they need to do something because it's not right. I look, I don't want uh oxtails to be compared to what one said some zebra penis or
Is
some
that what I
elephant
said?
tail.
Yeah, you got that right.
Yeah, you said he would eat zebra
Hey,
penis.
Dr. Bushmeat.
I
No,
got
let's
it
say
wrong.
Hey,
penis.
Dr. Bushmeat. They were
Yes,
these
sir.
Africans was the main ones that were saying that, oh yeah, you got slave food, but our food is eaten and liked all over the world. Though while I went to Tokyo, man, that soul food restaurant so packed, you have to make a reservation. I had to make a reservation for 2 days. They was booked for damn near for like 2 or 3 days in advance though. So they had a couple of African
Look,
restaurants out there in Tokyo. I went past there, that shit was empty like a motherfucker, like a ghost town though.
Mm-hmm.
look, our
But when I went
elders
to the soul
made.
food restaurant, that shit was packed as hell, man. That you had people from all over the world going to that soul food restaurant. That
Oh,
soul food restaurant so big
Yep.
they had to turn a lot of people away.
look, our elders made them pig intestines so good, it became a delicacy. Now everybody eating pig anus, so I'm not ashamed to be eating so called slave food, cause now motherfuckers eating that shit with macaroni, cheese, and cornbread, all the same shit that they said was leftovers. We made leftovers to shit.
And the white,
Hey, I'm not ashamed of my grandmama and them chitlins. Chitlins
Yeah.
good, man. All you need is some good old some Trappist.
I don't know what
Hey,
that
long
is.
as you clean it right and it don't taste like anus no more, I feel like what's the harm? Long as you eat it in portions and only on holidays
You
and
guys are
great celebration.
terrible Muslims. I just want to point that out.
Hey, I look with even though I don't eat pork no more, I couldn't be a Muslim. I tried and yeah, them niggas too
Why?
strict. I'm not fit to make bean
What
pies
did
all the
they?
time
You
and
what?
stand on the
How?
corner and pass
How do
out
you
newspapers.
not like standing on the counter passing out? Never mind.
No, look, if I'm standing on the corner, I might be making some real money instead of $2 a
There's
newspaper.
nothing wrong
My
with
brother,
bean pies.
my brother, let me tell you about the great Muhammad.
They have on good suits.
Yeah, they be fly, but look, it's too hot. I live in Texas. It be
Oh
130
man,
degrees in the middle of the summer. I'm not fit to be sweating my suit out.
they don't
I'm,
sweat. Haven't you seen them?
Why don't they sweat?
Because they're cool.
okay, they some smooth criminals. Look, I don't even understand how they did it back in the day wearing them 3-piece suits everywhere they went. Like I could barely wear them at church on Sunday. My granny be getting on my aunties and them be getting on my ass because like I'd rather wear just a nice little top and some slacks and yeah, I'm in there. I'm just playing the guitar. What? And I'm just coming in here for a good hour. As soon as the preacher get to going a little too far, I'm gonna step out and I'm gonna come back in and at the end and play my guitar and leave. That's what they got me there for. Cause I'm still working on myself. Jesus ain't done with me. But hope everybody been having a good night. It's Friday, thank God. And yeah, watch Captain America. It's a good movie. I recommend it. If you can watch it for free, do
Everybody
that.
says that.
We had a scathing review from one of the freedmen. He was just outraged at it.
Mm.
But then
I heard there's a little raccoon in there. Is
I
that
It
don't
was a
true?
little
know.
so. It made me disappointed a little bit in certain pieces, but I understand the propaganda.
And he was also told to not do any slander against the movie or he might be beaten up.
Mm. We're gonna go to Lamanul. Lamanul, what's on your mind?
I don't see that person. Oh, I see
I
it.
may be saying it wrong. Lamanul Jung. Lamanul, are you related to Carl Jung?
Yes.
Anyway, James, what's on your mind, bro?
Hey, peace to the room. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I hear you.
I mean, what can I say to those who's teaching me? But to the title to the room, a brother being a brother from Georgia, and this, yeah, like the black said, this is insulting. You know what I'm saying? Because our folks actually did cook this food out of sheer necessity, because that's all we had. That's all they was willing to give, and and it's just it's infuriating, but at the same time, I'm glad that I'm on this side of history because there ain't nothing they can do. You can try to be us, but hey, Kendrick Lamar, he he doesn't understand how big that statement "they not like us" really means in this day and age right now. No land.
No cap. We're gonna get a couple more speakers, and it's 1 a.m. and I've been back into bed. Uh, it's good to see you, Nico. What's on your mind?
Hello, hello to the host and the co-host. Um, I came
Hey,
to speak
hey,
on your stage because you always come speak on mine. Hello, Wani. Haven't spoke to you guys ever since we got into it. And Nikki, how y'all doing? I had to jump into this
hey, hey.
conversation here. Um, did Africans create soul food? Hell no, because soul food is more than just greens. First of all, it's dressing. It's fucking green beans mixed with potatoes. It's pork and beans and wieners. It's so many other. It's mother pork chops. They no. And
Hey, Nico, goddamn, that accent making me hungry as a
and
motherfucker.
gumbo.
I know that's right. I'm wanting some green beans with
Come on,
some
I
fat
come on.
back
forgot
or
green
something
Green
in
beans
beans
and
with
them.
potatoes over
potatoes.
rice.
I forgot that.
Come on now. That's slave food. Stop playing with us. It's a whole bunch of recipes that's soul food. They come up here and try to associate some fucking okra. Let's be clear here. Gumbo do not have the original gumbo doesn't have okra in it. It's called filet gumbo. And they gumbo is called gumbo like that. And it's some fucking slimy ass okra. It is not associated. It is not our food. And that they potatoes is called yams. That shit is that white shit. That's not our potatoes. Like our yams is different from the yams. It's just crazy that they're trying to claim our soul food. So I just wanted to get up.
Hey, I was in West Africa, and an African made fun of us. He said, he said, Black Americans are confused. They don't know. They call potatoes yams.
But they
They don't
yam,
know what a
we
yam
don't because
is,
they yam is totally different from ours. I've seen it. Pull it up.
and it's nasty
Yeah,
as
it's
hell too,
made
Nico.
out that that food stuff. I taste it. It do. I'm not gonna lie. It tastes like a mashed potato without no fucking salt or something. It's just bland. I have had African food. None of it is like ours. So I just had to get up there because I saw it on the timeline. I said, I know the fuck they not. And our jambalaya is
But
not no fucking Jollof rice.
Nico, with the
Mhm.
gumbo, can you please clarify for the space?
Mhm.
Black American jumbo. They have okra. It has okra in it,
Oh yeah.
right?
We make it two ways, okay? But the authentic gumbo is called filet gumbo, and it don't have okra. But then we make the okra gumbo, which is the filet gumbo, just added okra, and the okra is not slimy. We take it and put it in the oven, or we fry it off until the slime is gone.
Why are we dealing with this horrible vegetable if it's so slimy?
I love okra.
I can't
Listen,
There's
stand it.
Okra's
enough
fire.
vegetables to pick from
nah, but
that are
it
not
tastes so good.
Okra's
slimy.
Y'all don't know how to
fire.
cook okra. A lot of people don't know how to cook okra. My mom used to smother it down until it's no slime. Period. So like I say, I you know I,
Now, you said we got into a fight. I don't remember.
I know it was that long ago.
You want to keep going?
Yeah, we haven't talked to each other in a minute. It's that long ago, like 3-4 years. So
We like you,
huh?
Nico.
What you say?
We
Okay,
like
good,
you.
good, good, y'all. I ain't used to come over here because that's why I was like, nah, no. Why they used to kick me the fuck off the stage?
Did I?
Yeah, well,
Damn, I'm
I
not
am.
nice.
No, listen. I
Were
can't
you
be. I
acting
can't
up?
be a bit much.
Well, you were acting up, huh? No, I know the feeling.
You can't you can't stay mad at her with that accent, baby.
Look at him. He gonna get himself in trouble.
That's
Him
that.
with that accent. But thank y'all. For allowing
Yeah.
me to speak.
Yeah, that's ladies and gentlemen, that is New Orleans right there. That's the best American
And the
And we
accent.
food.
That's
needed
the best
that.
one.
Yep. We
They
needed
food is on
we
fire,
needed
man.
your
Man, my grandfather, he made these turnip
What about our
slash
gravy and rice,
collard
y'all?
greens. I never had no greens better than some New Orleans.
Mhm.
I like that shrimp etouffee.
Oh
Now, is
my
that
God.
African? No.
Crawfish. No, that crawfish etouffee. Oh my god.
They can't cook. That's why
And
we
they
got
always try to take
two
our food.
cuisines. They sure are.
But I hit them with that hee haw, when you come up with recipes that they don't even know about. Like them red beans and rice. Play with me. Not no fucking peas and rice.
Remember,
See,
Dan?
see,
Yeah,
we
them
can
peas
fight
and
back.
rice
See, we
be
from New
dry.
Orleans. See, I be fighting their ass back because we got our Black American culture is rich down there. We have our own lingo. We have our own food. Like we can bounce ourselves up against any fucking anybody, like any other race. Yep, because
Facts.
yeah, I'm from New Orleans and we kept our culture. You know what I'm saying? So I love talking to Africans because you can't never fucking say Black Americans don't have no culture because we have a lot of culture and it's Black American culture in New Orleans.
Remember he tried to tell us that Africans created hush puppies? Come on, man.
Come on now, that's
Come
done with
on.
cornmeal. They got cornmeal over there.
Come on, man. They need to stop. They don't even puppies. They have dog farms. Is that what he's talking about?
Hold on, what about turkey? That's Black American. They don't even have no fucking turkey. That's soul food. They can't fuck
Yep.
with us.
That's for our harvest feasts.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get a couple more speakers, and then I'm going to bed, baby. Let's see. We're gonna do Starry. Been waiting a while. And FBA Trade Day will have last words.
I'm
Starry, what's on your
perfect.
mind?
Thank you, host, and to the co host and to the room. All right. I have not heard this until recently that soul food is African food. We know that everybody want to be adjacent to Black American. Everything is always black. Orange is the new black. Gay is the new black. Dancing wild is the new black. Karate is the new black. Everything is black. But no, all jokes aside. Um, that food is not what's popping. But also too, Africans and everybody else have easily um, blanketed themselves in Black American culture, and they have. I ain't to be funny. They have mostly became us. When you see them, you equate them with us. Something's wrong with that. Last but not least, um, they have been everywhere and anywhere. And I think the last place that they're going to try to come through, and I'm glad Nico is on the stage, is going to be through Louisiana. Why? Because there's so much going on in Louisiana. They feel like they can kind of, the Caribbean, the quote unquote Africanness and all that stuff can kind of blend in there.
Uh-uh.
And that's going to be the, I know what you're about to say, but that's why I'm glad you're on the stage. That's going to be the last
But
takeover
it's gonna be
because I'm
hard to
seeing,
do that because they indigenous down there. Like we know our roots. Like
right.
it's gonna be very hard to do that down there in New
But
Orleans.
they trying because they having the, and I'm here now,
Only on the
right?
TV.
Oh, okay, right. But look, hold on. I'm here now. I live here now. Um, but
Where you live at?
I am in the Lafayette area.
Okay, that's far from New Orleans. That's like 2 hours.
Yeah, it is. It is. But when I go, even when I go down there, the thing of it is now we got the essence down there. We got a lot of people that have,
But we don't even contribute to the essence like the locals of New Orleans. See?
no,
Yeah.
I see that. But my thing is that's gonna be their last attempt because everybody else is waking up. You know, a lady just came from Baltimore. They running from all the Black American cities that are waking up. A lot of us are really, really, truly waking up, and I think they feel like they can
But you know
come
why they
there.
can't take New Orleans? Can I just put an input on this? You know
Go ahead.
why? Because we acknowledge our African roots, though. We acknowledge our indigenous roots. They can't fuck with that. That's a Black American. They
Mhm.
cannot fuck with that. They ain't gonna be able to come in there and talk about something. Oh, y'all African? No, bitch, we poor African. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
What I'm saying? We know who we are there. A lot of people don't know who they are. But in New Orleans, it's gonna be very hard for them to take over. They might try to be a part of it, but they're
Right.
not gonna be able to take over it because of how it's set up.
I like the way you do business. That's what I want. That's what I want to hear, and I like that.
And that's
And
how
I
we do in New Orleans, but we are gatekeepers. Understand
okay.
that it's very special down there. We kept that culture. We are gatekeepers. Like they gonna have to really fucking fight for that.
You know what too? I'm loving the fact that Black Americans, and I'm done after this, is waking up nationwide. And for you to say what you just said, because that's a big attempt, because they're trying to, like you said, you know who you are, and well, we always have, I think, across the board, have acknowledged our African roots, right? But that right there, like you said, is something special about that and different. And what we forget as well, and I'm done after I say this, is that not only New Orleans, you got to remember right across the pond, we're right there in Alabama, Mobile. This neck and neck. We play like this is not the Louisiana Purchase when we talk about Missouri and these different places and what was going on. So they try to pinpoint Louisiana because they feel like that part right there they can slide in on. But then you start hitting them with that history and then understand that this is all going together. You can't do that. But respect to you, Nico. Thank you, Professor Wani, Nikki, and the rest of the room. Oh yeah, guys, they're trying to take me down on Twitter again. They didn't take half my followers, beat me
Why?
up, and everything
What
else. I might need
happened?
a little bit of bail money. Shit, I
Wow,
don't know.
Damn.
that's crazy.
Well, let us know. We'll boost up a new account if you need one.
No cap. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I enjoyed y'all. Again, look in the jumbotron. You'll find Wani Spots and Nikki the Gods Cash App. Show them love for
I
all their
think I got
scholarship and
little, little something to say real quick.
Oh, we forgot. You want to
yeah.
keep
No,
the
oh,
room
I
going?
hadn't
Oh,
forgot.
my bad.
Oh,
Nikki,
if you want to, Wani.
since you
I
have
don't
so
want
many
to keep the room going. I just do my shout outs. Y'all know how I do it. I just want to come up here and give y'all's flowers. I know y'all did y'all thing tonight. Professor, I definitely want to give you a shout out because I did receive the book. Y'all, it is excellent. Please invest. It really helped out during Black History Month. Yeah, I had some extra stuff to teach my children. So shout out to you for creating it and thank you because I would have never known if I wouldn't have came into space and you were talking about it and promoting it. So shout out to you, Professor Alon. Shout out to Nikki and Wani, and I see you, Nico, and everybody else in the space. Hey, family. That's all I wanted to say.
Hey, baby.
Oh, you're very welcome, Patty Cakes. And ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want a copy of my book, I have another stack. Another copy just came in, stack of copies. Go to Our Story Publications. It's in the Jumbotron. Put $25 on it. And make sure you put your full name and address with full zip in Cash App. And I'll send it out tomorrow.
Why you gotta put
If
your
y'all
full
bought
address and your
a
full
book.
name? Come on now, nigga.
Oh, man, because I got to send you the book, baby.
You
Where
want
I'm
me
going
to
to send
send
the
it up
book to,
tomorrow?
baby?
Damn, man. Look, you need to have a
You want a
digital copy
PDF? I
now.
want a PDF.
Baby want me to do some voodoo and send
I
it
don't
to
know
her
no
that
voodoo.
way.
Hold on now.
Uh-oh.
Hold on, nigga.
hey,
Them voodoo,
hey,
man. That voodoo not
hey,
really no French quarters. Don't invest in that.
Nick, Nico, I'm from Alabama. I might know me a
Well,
little
you know I'm
voodoo.
from New Orleans. Fuck that. Our voodoo fake.
So that white lady
Y'all
sitting in the
got
street on Bourbon Street.
Yeah, they got voodoo
Um,
dolls that ain't real. They don't got nothing in them. The city make money off of it. A lot of people on the outside of New Orleans, they go to New Orleans thinking that shit real. But the locals, we don't mess with that shit.
shit. I done seen some shit in New Orleans,
Me too,
man.
shit.
I, I was. You broke up, Nico.
That shit.
You there, Nico? Oh, I was in New Orleans with my homie one time, and we went to Tulane. He showed me Tulane University. and it was Christmas break. Wasn't no students there. It was cats just running every direction. I said, "What the fuck is this? No people, just cats." It looked like cats was going to college, just walking every direction. And it was a black cat staring at me. I said, "What the fuck? This cat staring at me, like looking at me, was mean mugging me and shit." So I walked up on his ass, and I took a. My lady laughing. I took my camera out and I took a picture of him. I couldn't believe. I'm gonna show him. I
Because
took a
you into
picture of him because he
voodoo, you know what I'm
frowning at
saying?
me.
I mean, the shit everywhere. You know, it's in Georgia, it's in Alabama, it's everywhere. So if you into that shit, you might summons up some spirits.
Check this shit out. Check this shit out, Nico. I took a picture of the cat, right? And I looked at the viewfinder. The viewfinder of my camera was jet black.
Hold on,
And
stop,
I was
stop,
like,
stop, 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 stop.
I took
That's the
another
same
picture. Listen,
fucking thing I was about to fucking say happened to me at fucking St. Louis Cathedral in New Orleans. I did the same fucking thing. It was jet
that's
fucking
wild.
black. Dude, I took like
So what
7 to
happened to
8
you?
fucking
Did you grow
pictures.
ears in the tail?
That's fucking crazy, dude.
No, no, hold on,
Dude,
hold on. Let me finish. Let me
I need
finish.
I need
FBA,
to
you
hear the
tell me if
magic
this.
part. What happened when the cat looked at you?
Oh, here come baby. Here come the magic. Here come the magic. So I took a picture. Took another picture. This cat didn't move. He mean mugging me and shit. I'm all up in his face taking a picture. The viewfinder was black. My homeboy said, "Nigga, take the lens cap off your camera, fool." So I like, damn, you right. So I looked at the camera. It wasn't no lens cap on it, right? So I turned. I was like, damn, my camera broke. So I turned to the buildings and took a picture of the buildings. Perfect picture. I turned to my homeboy, took a picture of him. Perfect picture. Took a picture of the sky. Perfect picture. Went to put the camera back on the kitty, took a picture of him, jet
hold
black
on, hold on,
again.
hold on.
Put in the
Doc,
jumbotron.
Professor, hold on, hold
Put
on.
in the
I was
jumbotron,
about to
nigga.
say the same fucking story, dude. Like, this was like,
Right?
bruh, we used to go, my
Where the
family
proof
goes to
at,
the Bayou
nigga?
Classic every year. We go to the Bayou Classic every single year after Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving night, we pack up a big old bus and we go to New Orleans. Well, last time we went, my Aunt Anna was still alive. She just passed in June. She would lead the bus tour. So we go there and we do the New Orleans tour where an old man take us on another bus and we go around the city and he shows us everything that's significant. Okay, we went to the St. Louis Cathedral. The it's a cemetery where they can't bury their dead in New Orleans, so it's tombs and shit everywhere. So
Hold on, you saying that wrong. The cathedral is not a cemetery, sir. It's a Catholic church
what? Yeah, well,
where
it's
all the evil
something.
people, all the
It's a
white
bunch
people.
of tombs and alleys and shit.
I'm just letting you know.
So
Let's get it right now. The cathedral.
I got you. I got you. But look, I learned though. I learned my lesson. Look,
You talking about the
so
graveyards?
I heard, I heard the
Like I
motherfucker was
guess it's
haunted.
y'all went on St. Claude where they have like the little
Yeah,
mausoleums and
I
stuff.
got you. But Nico, hold on. I heard the shit was haunted. So I know that motherfuckers when you take pictures of shit, it's supposed to pop up on the pictures. So I said, okay, let me snap some pictures in this motherfucker. I snapped like 7 or 8 pictures, Professor. I swear, it was bright day, beautiful day out, beautiful day. I go on the bus and I'm looking through the pictures like, okay, let me see if I see something. All those motherfucking pictures were blacked out except for one. I scrolled like through 4. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And one of them it had like one little blot on it. It wasn't fully blacked out. It had one little blot. So I'm still scrolling. I'm like, what the fuck? All this shit is blacked out. I scroll back to that one picture. That one was blacked out too. Dude, I deleted
Something wrong
all
with your
those
camera,
motherfucking
nigga.
pictures. Nah, bro, that scared the
nigga,
fuck out.
nigga, nigga.
That's
Something was wrong
crazy
with that
that you said
camera.
the same fucking thing though, dude. That is insane. What? It must
Listen,
be something.
listen, listen.
That man,
I heard better stories than y'all's. Man, y'all got shit. Y'all got camera stories.
come on,
Yeah,
Nico.
tell
Come
us,
on.
The
man.
Give us
Tell
fuck
us
some.
y'all
what y'all
talking
Give
see.
me.
about, man? See. People want to see something haunted so fucking bad, and they ain't seeing nothing. Man, my daddy had some stupid ass horror stories.
Come
ah,
on with it.
okay. I mean, they used to be fucking off the wall. We used to laugh so fucking hard. I'm like, daddy, go ahead. Okay, he said one night, one night, um, a baby saved his life because some kind of way his sister left his little niece with him that night, and a man knocked on the door. Talk about a man that had no head. It was, and the only reason I can't remember the whole story. The only reason why the man, the entity, whatever the fuck it was, didn't kill his ass was because he had the fucking baby. Boy, they had some crazy ass stories.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
it's terrible.
terrifying.
Yeah, so people have,
So it was afraid of like the purity of the
yep, I
baby.
guess so.
I just
Wow.
wanted to say something real quick about that.
He was
Y'all
saying, wait,
reminded
hold
me
on, I got
about
another one.
Come
something
on,
They
six
said that
nine.
real
he
quick.
said he was drowning in the lake. Him and his
So
friend. Hold
I
on.
think y'all talking about these shadow beings, right? These like it doesn't.
6 9. We're gonna get to you in 1 minute. What were you saying,
My
Nico?
daddy said that him and his friend went out to go swimming on the lake, and some kind of way
Uh oh.
they was drowning. He was drowning, and he
Mm.
said he said a man pulled both of them out and then disappeared.
Wow.
So it's like
Crazy.
it's
What were
stuff
you
like
saying,
that, but
six?
it's not like no voodoo African shit. It's it be weird ass story.
I got I got a picture that's gonna make me a lot of money. I just got it copyrighted. Of a spirit I got a picture of in Africa that some of you in the room seen. It's fucking wild, but you'll see it shortly because I'm about to publish it. But I caught a picture of a goddamn. Oh, I'm not gonna say goddamn. Let me be careful with what I say. I don't know what it was, but it looked like a spirit. I got it on camera. 69. What's on your
Oh,
mind?
I just wanted to say I appreciate y'all sharing your stories. You was bringing back some memories. Um, so when you're younger, your your soul is not hardened. Your heart is not hardened. When I talk about like your heart chakra is not hardened, and a lot of times our children they can see some of those different type of energies. I think what y'all was talking about was like these shadow beings. I used to see them when I was younger. It didn't matter how dark it was. It was something that was a silhouette that was even darker. It's like looking into a black hole. If you feel like that's a negative spirit or you feel any negative spirits, just pray. Just pray it away. Just pray not to see it again. That's what I did. You don't have to be afraid of it. It could be something from a past life. Some type of you know, something with a relative or whatever it
Come on,
is.
y'all.
If
Let
you
me
feel
horrify
like
y'all one more time.
well, I just wanted to say, if you feel any type of negativity with that spiritual um, being, just pray it away. All right,
You talking about
earnest
the
prayer.
motherfuckers that move real fast, man? Like
I see him
nah,
all the
that's
time
scary
too.
as fuck,
Yeah,
man.
that's
I
most
see
definitely
videos
real.
of them motherfuckers. Like it's like a lot of videos of like them shadow things. Like they move back and forth like real fast, like just infinitely. People be like recording them and shit.
Yeah, in Alabama, the old folk, my auntie and my grandmama and them used to call them haints.
Oh
They
yeah,
haints.
Hanks.
Well,
And
me and my
haints.
me and my little sister saw that.
Y'all got a
Wow.
word for it? Damn.
No, no, it was literally because my nanny was evangelist, and she had came to the house, and she what a project because I'm from the project, and she was like, they have debt in y'all court. And I'm like, my mom was like, huh? She was like, we gotta pray. They have dead in y'all court. And that same day, me and my little sister was playing, and we saw something run out my mama room. Like it was black, like a fucking black ghost or something. Right before she had came. And check this out. She said it was dead in the court. I promise to God. Each they had like six porches. That's what we call it. 6 steps. Like in each building, it was like wait, let me see, two, four, five porches. In each building, somebody died in that court. They had a fire, a whole family died. My the neighbor in our building, the neighbor son got killed. In the other building, a lady killed her mama. I swear to God, shit like that.
Did they cleanse the building or something?
The the whole court. No, that went through the whole court. Somebody died in each building. In my nanny, you know what I'm saying, had prophesized it. to my mama before it happened.
That's crazy. My granny my great granny, it's a story in my family. We're from Kentucky. Um, they from Columbia, Kentucky, and it's a story that my great granny got into it with this lady, like when she was younger, and the lady somehow got in the house, and she left something in there for my granny, and it was like a poofy pile of dust or something, and it was in the corner. Like they described it as like real weird looking. My aunt Sally did. So anyway, she came in the house and did that while my granny was gone. So my aunt Sally was the one that came in the house and saw it, and she looked at it. She's like, "What the hell is that?" And somebody else was there, and I forgot who it was, but they took the end of a broomstick, and like they just started poking at it, like just poking at it just to see what the hell it was, because it looked like a piece of dust or something. And when they started poking, it just said poof, like just blew up. And the explanation behind that was it wasn't meant for my aunt Sally, who was the one who encountered it. It was meant for my granny. So because it wasn't the person who the curse was intended for, the curse didn't work. So
Well, y'all seen the thing? It's like on TikTok and shit, and I've seen this in one of my students. Mama got a Tesla, and she showed me this shit because the school I teach at is right in front of a graveyard. Like you can on a Tesla, you can hit a certain setting on the the camera, and it shows like people walking back and forth and disappearing by graveyards. Like it's like the camera that guides the Tesla is ultra sensitive or some shit. Well, check this shit out. One of my students works for Uber, or Uber Eats, and she was saying she got a order, a weird order, a burger with a lot of onions or something just awkward from Steak and Shake. And she put the location in her car and was just driving, blasting music, and was driving, to drop off the order. And she said this at night. And all of a sudden, she said she realized that she had, she blasting music, not really paying attention to where she going. And all of a sudden, she said, "What the fuck?" She said she was in the middle of a graveyard. Wasn't no houses, nowhere to be found.
I
Hell
had that happen
yeah.
to me.
And
My
I'm gonna
spine
want to
is
know about it. But
tingling.
what the fuck?
Yo.
she was in the middle of a goddamn graveyard, and she like freaked out and just fucking threw the food out in the graveyard. Like what? Wasn't a, she said it wasn't a house anywhere
Yeah, it was a
around. Like
fuck.
it
It
was a
was a
goddamn.
graveyard. I'm calling tech support trying to call a customer, and there's no customer. I'm like, confirming the address. It's a grave. I had that happen to me. I had that happen to me. Whoa.
Now y'all know what state is
Huh?
haunted? Y'all think New Orleans is
Hey,
haunted.
Did,
Mississippi.
6ix9ine. Were you in
you said
Georgia?
you had it happen to you? Did you deliver the food to? Was it a dead person?
No, but it was a damn graveyard. Um,
6ix9ine, was
yes,
it in
yeah, it
Georgia?
was. Trying to think exact. It was in Decatur,
Oh shit.
DeKalb County.
Uh-huh. Tell on it.
Trying
Tell
to
the
think the
truth.
exact area. Um,
Hold on, bro. I'm about to. My lady. We looking it up. Yeah, this is we know exactly that it's the same goddamn place. Hold on 1 second, bro. We looking
it's
it up
Okay,
right
right
this is
by
good
now.
a
conversation. I gotta
racetrack.
go to
It's
work.
right by
Holy
a
shit!
racetrack
Y'all have
over
a good
there.
night. Good morning.
Is by the is it
Stop
in
playing. Are you
Lakeview Road,
serious?
bro? Union City, goddamn
What?
Georgia. No shit.
Oh, haunted
Oh,
Atlanta.
I'm
Haunted
getting shivers.
Georgia.
Stop it.
I'm swear to God, I'm giving you the address right now. We looked it up. It's by Highway 85 Riverdale, Lakeview
Yeah,
Road, Union City,
it's south.
Georgia.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Did you end up dropping off the
Nah, I
food,
didn't.
dude?
Well, let me see what because it changed at different times.
Did y'all
Sometimes,
ever think that it's the person at the graveyard that's like, you know what I'm
hey, it's
saying?
possible.
Actually keeping the grounds, you know. You ever thought about that?
Not at night.
Why?
No,
They
it
was
was at
there.
night.
What
It was
time was
at
that?
night.
But what make you think that they don't, they're not there though? Because my brother used to work at a graveyard at night.
They wouldn't answer their phone.
Y'all got some fat, greedy ghosts out there.
Uh,
They say nothing
Hey,
but death can keep me from that burger. For real.
and they tipped her $9. Check this out, man. They tipped her $9 and they didn't refund the money. She threw the goddamn burger in the graveyard and sped off. So somebody must have walked up and said, "Okay, thank you," and then just got the food. So, bro, you were at the same goddamn graveyard, no
it
cap.
had to be. It's right by a racetrack. I know that
Uh,
for sure.
that's
And they also have graves that's on top of the ground too in Georgia. Why they be trying to talk about New
of the
Orleans?
what?
They have like mausoleums. They have like graves that sit on top, of the ground in
Oh, I thought you
Georgia.
meant buried
Yeah,
like
I've
it was
seen those
buried
in
over grave.
Louisiana. The
And
Louisiana graves are interesting, to say the
yeah,
least.
but I've passed graveyard graves that I've seen in New Orleans. I'm saying like it's on top, Nikki. So I'm like,
That's
what the
because of
fuck
the
they talking
flooding,
about?
right?
Huh? I'm in Atlanta. I'm
Oh,
in Georgia.
I bet you could cook your ass off, girl.
I
I'm coming
sure
over.
could. I sure could. And everybody be trying to get those recipes. Shit, I gotta get my shit copyrighted first.
I know hospitals behind it as fuck too though.
Y'all, I gotta go to work. Y'all have a good morning again. I want to
Okay,
hear
I'll
what that
see you
person had
around,
to
baby.
say, because that person hand was up.
Who?
I can't say the name. I think he kicked
Yeah,
me off the stage though.
I didn't
I ain't
kick
too sure
nobody
no
off. Let's
mistake.
see.
Hey, I wanted to say, I forgot to say, thanks, also to Nikki the God. I had said thanks to you and Wani. That was pretty rude. I didn't even realize she was the host. So yeah, thanks Nikki the God for hosting the space as well. And Nico, man, you need to go get you a PO box. Don't worry about your address, man. We got PO boxes out here.
Man,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
costs
yeah.
high. Shit.
Yeah. But yeah,
Fifty
man,
six
that's
dollars.
it.
Okay, again, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want a copy of my book for Black History Month, I got a lot of esoteric information in there. Information it's not necessarily long, but it took me 3 years to write that doggone thing because every information leads to more information. It's information about origins and um, and about our lineage. Go ahead and put $25 in our story publications. Make sure you put your full address and zip code. If you bought books, I had a big order earlier this week. If you bought a book, please, and you're not sure if you put your address, please double check Cash App and upload your address. You can do it. Just put your address and hit enter again. Um, thank you all. Again, Wani Spots and Nikki the Gods Cash App are in the Jumbotron. Show them love for their scholarship and their dedication. Tomorrow we'll pick this back up with a whole nother space. Um, and the rendezvous point is on Tariq Nasheed's page later on. Wani, did you have any last
Good
thoughts?
night.
What about you, Nikki?
I guess we're gonna close the space. I thought we was gonna keep it open, but Tariq probably about to start up
Oh,
soon.
It's getting a
oh,
little
well,
bit
oh, no,
late,
no, no.
so we'll close it.
No, no, it's not. We can keep it open if you want to facilitate Wani or Nikki. Y'all want to?
Okay, raise your hand if you want to keep the space open, everybody.
Ghost stories. Ghost stories.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's do ghost stories then.
Me, me,
Yes, sir. That's
me.
fun.
Okay,
That's
go
fun.
ahead. We're gonna do some ghost stories till the wheels fall off.
Is Nico sister?
Until
Okay.
Tariq come on.
I forgot to also say, damn, I really also came up here to say this. Hey yo, for everybody that don't know, what else would be a better place to let people know, right? Wani will be assisting people and give some tips on genealogy and stuff, man. So stay tuned for that. Shout out to Wanda Don for that.
Wani has a con.
How you going? What is you doing advertisement for one and now?
Oh, hi, Patty Cake.
No.
I done got blamed for advertising for Chick-fil-A, advertising for barbecue sauce. Now I'm getting blamed for advertising
You're
for
advertising
Wanda
me.
Don. Yeah,
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 we are
man.
helping people with their genealogy. So message me if you want the link.
Would you help someone like Mansa Musa,
Do his genealogy? No.
who said that he was 100% African on his DNA trace?
No, I'm not going to help him. The Africans can't do it because they don't have any records.
He say he been here since the 1700s. He say he
Oh.
got paperwork.
Mm-hmm. Show the paperwork.
Does anybody have any ghost stories? I mean, I'll go if y'all, you know.
Go ahead.
Okay, all right. Well, when I was younger, um, we was heading up to. I got people in Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, and New York. So we go back and forth each year, and we rent. We take our cars up and we go up to New York to visit family for a reunion. And this one time we're going up the highway and it's late at night, and you know you're supposed to have like a your passenger driver help you, you know, stay awake, you know, listen to music or talk or whatever like that. And in the van that we was in, um, the co-driver, he fell asleep, and my dad, um, he ended up falling asleep because his co-driver fell asleep. All right, and so this is what happened because everybody was asleep. When I wake up, I'm just hearing all kinds of twigs and leaves and branches snapping, and I'm seeing just green outside. I don't see the blue or sky or nothing like that or anything that looks like, you know, where you should be on the road. It's just all just green flash, you know, going by real fast, and the van is shaking. So um, he's just hearing a whole bunch of rumbling and everything, and then it finally hear a loud boom and comes to a stop. And so, you know, everybody is like, you know, yelling and trying to figure out what's going on, and you know, just in a daze and everything like that. But when we come to the stop, you can see a little bit of light coming out the driver's side, and then you know we open up the door, the sliding door of the van, and we realize that we're in like the ravine area, off to the side where the shoulder is, um, and it was a bunch of cars together, but our car is the one that went off the road. So anyway, long story short, we're working our way up out of the van and we're heading up towards the highway, uh, up the hill. And as we're going up, the paramedics are coming down with body bags because they just thought for sure we was dead. They literally was coming with body bags, and they said that our van was going down the road and it was swerving and it was going down the road, and for whatever reason we were staying on the road for the longest time, and just at that last period they couldn't get us to stop. This was probably like back in, I want to say 90, had to been about like 93ish, 90, 94, 93ish, somewhere around that area. I don't know, you know, why they didn't like get in front or back and slow us down, whatever. But anyway, long story short, only one person got a little lash from a branch that hit him, that came through the sliding door. No injuries, no broken bones, nobody died. And the way they described it, they looked at us like we were ghosts because they were expecting us all to be dead. There was like something had to have been watching over y'all, because the way that the van stayed on the road, even when it went down in the ravine, it snapped the axle, but it stayed upright. It didn't flip over, and it just, they were expecting us to be all dead. So it was like you had to had angels looking after you. We got some rental cars, and we, you know, finished the trip up, and you know, of course, the guy who was supposed to be the co-captain, he got chewed out, uh, and But yeah, there was some angel looking after us.
So, angel, ghost.
That's the way that they described it to us. They said something had to have been guiding the van because of how we stayed on the road and how we didn't end up dead when we went, like how we missed all those trees while we were down there. You
Well,
know what I'm
after
saying?
that happened, did your life seem different in any way?
I mean, I was kind of young. You perspective wise, I'm not really sure.
What
I
age
could
were you
say,
again?
ooh, I had to been about like 6 or 7.
Oh,
Oh, you was innocent. It was innocent.
anybody
That
older
makes
in
a
there?
difference.
Oh, pardon me.
Anybody older in the car?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Everybody. Well, there's a few, maybe a few other children, but
Okay.
mostly adults. Hmm.
The
God
reason,
God,
take
God
care
the
looks
of
after
reason,
idiots
the
babies.
and
reason I
fools.
ask that is because a lot of times when someone has an accident or some scenario where people thought they were dead, but they're not, but a lot of people have had accidents, mostly car accidents, and the paramedics will say, "No, I saw the whole thing go through the windshield. Like, why are you alive?" They come over to the car and they're like, "Why are you alive?" And then those people report that their life is just slightly off, like their things are slightly different than they had been before. But because you were so young, you can't really say.
Right. You talking about like Final Destination? Like maybe you,
You went
like
into
Uncle
another
Charles missed.
dimension. Like you went in, you continued what you were doing in another dimension, but it's off a bit.
Yeah, I didn't have enough
Mm-hmm.
previous life to
Right.
to 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 tell.
Gotcha. Who's next? What ghost stories are next?
You was protected because you was an innocent.
Why? They kill innocents all the time.
No, no, no. As a child, it's his age. He was
There's
an innocent.
children die all the time.
No, no, no. Well, particularly, there's something that he's supposed to do. So those that are supposed to do something,
I'm just a regular nigga.
produce, produce
I ain't
something. I don't
special
know
like
if
that.
you, nah. You're supposed to be there or do something. There's a job for you to do.
I would like to think I'm that great, but
No,
uh,
you don't have to be
nah,
great. You don't have.
nah.
It's not the fact that you have to be like some Martin Luther King speech telling nigga. No, it's just it's something somebody either somebody needed you or there was something that is planned for you to be done. Is what I'm saying. I don't know if you already did it, but you were saved for that reason. Is what I'm saying. You're one of the innocents.
Well, I'm just glad we all made it, and it's not the most unique story, but that was just something that happened.
Would anybody like to share? Oh, I brought these people up and they're not on stage. Just a minute. Melanated Mind, I
Hmm.
brought up, and I
I
brought up.
know. I met them. I brought them both up too
Yeah, what's going
before.
on with this face? Gia Monet, I brought up a while ago, and it must have kicked her back down. So either Melanated Mind
I'll
or
leave to make some space. Thank you.
okay, yeah, you can stay up and share more if you have more.
Does anybody else? I'm gonna wait and let anybody else if they come up. I got one more, but
Can,
that's it.
can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was just listening to the brother's story. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and if in it and the subject y'all talking about, if anybody know New Orleans, Louisiana, the Ninth Ward, I grew up between Florida Avenue and Lockett Elementary Street in the middle, and I was hit by a car. I was age 7 or 8, and I remember this. I was paralyzed. I was put in a coma, and this is no lie. I was put in a coma. I was drugged like 2 blocks right in front of 2623 Louisa Street. And while I was in that coma, and I don't remember how long, I just kept seeing this one lady. Now, this one lady that I kept seeing, I didn't realize that it was my mother that drowned while she was a baby, which caused my mother to go into foster care. I was living in a foster home. But I kept seeing her. I didn't see her until years later. I didn't see a picture of her until years later, you know? And that's something that always stuck with me. It's something that always stuck with me and what this dude's saying. I think that's something that's powerful, and that's something that's real because I know for a fact that like I said, it was like just to know that that was my grandmother, my grandmother that was sitting up here telling me. I remember like she would be there all the whole time. It's gonna be okay. It was gonna be okay. And when I woke up out the coma, because I was in a coma, had traumatic brain injury, I was paralyzed, had to learn how to walk again, talk again, eat again, you know what I'm saying, everything. And like when I woke up out of that, like the last thing she said to me, it was gonna be okay. That's what she said. She was like, it's gonna be okay. When I woke up, I had tubes down my throat. And I didn't, I couldn't, it was like, it was a blur. It was a blur. And, like I say, after all, like it was probably like about, I was like 16 or 17 when I was in high school, when I ran across my family, after, and it was like, this is your mama's mama, or whatever, whatever. And I was like, wow, this is the same lady that was telling me while I was in this coma because it was like just a blur, a blackout. And, you know, it was a blackout. It was a blur. It was just whatever when it happened to me when I got hit by that car. And, when I saw that, I was like, I mean, it struck me and it kind of scared me. It really kind of scared me. If anybody know this, if anybody from New Orleans, from the Ninth Ward, Roman cleaners, like I say, from between Florida Avenue by the tracks and the canal and Lockett Elementary, Louisa Street, they would know exactly what I'm talking about. And when I saw that, it scared me and I shied away from it because I was like, ain't no way, you know. But then after that, I lost her mother because her mother was still living, but she was messed up as well as far as being on drugs or whatever, whatever. So she couldn't have my mom and them like that. So I'm like a second generation foster kid. I'm foundational Black American though. I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana, and after that, I started having dreams about both of them. They would be coming to see me while I was a kid. They will come and see me in my dreams. It's not like something I would be walking down the street and saying them, but they will be in my dreams. You know, after mother died, because my mama's mama, her mother name, my great grandmother's my grandmother's name, we called her mother. And like I said, I remember going to her funeral as a kid. I remember going to her in the projects. She used to live in the projects, and she would have me go upstairs and go and get gum. You know what I'm saying? Get stuff from up under her bed for her and stuff. And I remember, like after that, like when she died, when mother died, she would be in my dreams. Like both of them would be in my dreams always. So there's something there when it comes to New Orleans. That energy is there. And I just wanted to put that out there. That's something that's real, you know? So that's all I wanted to say.
How old were you?
I would like I say I had to be about 8. I was in elementary school. I remember I was ooh like I was like it was like right before 6th grade. I was like fourth or fifth grade. It's hard for me to remember because, like I said, I had traumatic brain injury. I literally, like I said, I was paralyzed, and the right side of my brain was like, you know. But I remember, like, I just remember seeing them with these goddamn first Sunday hats on. I remember this, with these, like, they would have like hats on, like be fly, like be, like not not ratchet, not like, fucked up or nothing. They would just, I just would see them with these hats on, and they would always be like, "You're gonna be okay." They would always tell me that, "You're gonna be okay." Well, like I say, I remember my mama's mama would always tell me that, but my mama's, my mama's mama died, that's she would be in the dream with my mama's mama, being like, "You gonna be okay." And I remember that after my mama's mama died, her name was Mother. And I can say this because on my uncle Dwayne, my uncle Herbert, I remember Uncle Herbert, he damn near got hit by a bus at her funeral, like for real. So I'm just letting y'all know, like, this is a real thing. And what y'all talking about right now, that's why just why I usually listen. I don't get up here and I don't speak at all, but that just touched me because I still deal with it right now today, you know. Even, my mama passed away in 2013. And even in my dreams, they come to me every day, every night. I be seeing them. So I'm letting y'all know, like, what these whoever's in this chat listening, y'all speaking facts. Anybody from New Orleans, if you know what I'm talking about, and if you're from the Night Wall, you know what I'm talking about at, you know I ain't lying. You know what I'm saying. So that's all I wanted to say. I wasn't trying to get up here on the weird shit or nothing, but that's just what I wanted to say. You hear me? So,
I don't mind the weird stuff. I want to hear it.
yeah, no, I'm not trying to, I'm being honest because it was like, like I said, when it happened to me, I was walking across the street, got hit by a car, got drugged like about 2 or 3 blocks, and I didn't know what was going on. The next thing I just know is like it was just a situation to where I had this lady, just beautiful. I'm talking about beautiful. And she was like, "You're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay." And the next thing I knew was, I was slowly opening up my eyes and I had like lights in my face, and I had tubes down my mouth. But I had my family standing around me. There was around me, they worried about me because I was pronounced dead though as well though, also. That was another thing. I was pronounced dead, you know. And but that was the last thing I remember. But ever since that, I would always see her like, "You gonna be okay," you know. Jimmy C. Edwards, that's her name. That's that's Jimmy C. Edwards. Anybody, like I said, if you're from New Orleans, like I say, people will know, you know, and like, but it's always been that way with me. At first, I used to be like, man, goddamn, like, I, but now it's like, I'm like, hey, I mean, shit, I'm 40 now, and I still deal with it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just letting y'all know, like that's in New Orleans, that energy is real. That energy is something else. It ain't nothing to play with. You know.
Do they still come visit you in your dreams?
Yes, every night, every night, every night. You know. And let me tell you one more thing. Let me tell you something. My uncle Troy died in 2002. He died. Aaliyah died in 2001, right? Aaliyah died in 2001, and how I remember is because I remember God. He said, "God damn nephew, another good piece of pussy done left," And it was, at the time, like, I mean, hey, I'm a young kid. I'm not a kid, but I'm like out of high school and stuff. And and right before he died, I remember me and my mama, we got into a big argument because I'm not gonna get into all this, but my uncle, he had AIDS. He was in hospice, and I went and slept somewhere else. And I had a dream, and my uncle was telling me, "Nigga, you better respect your mama." I remember this. And as I'm having this dream, my mama called the person house I was living by, and she was like, "We coming to get you because your uncle, he got out of his bed. He tried to get out of his bed because he had fluid on his feet. He fell. He hit his head and he fell into a coma." You see what I'm saying? This really happened, and you know, and I was like, "Damn, that's crazy. That can't be serious." But like the night he died, like it was like me and him we was dreaming. Like it was like he was in my dreams and he was telling me, "Respect your mama. Don't be a," you know what I'm saying? Like checking me in my dreams. And it was like, and they said like he tried to get up, he thought he could wake up. He had fluid on his feet and he couldn't walk. And he fell and he hit his head. It was like he wasn't aware. He fell and hit his head. And that shit, it still bothers me to this day because I'm like, God, not bothering me, but I'm like, okay, now I get it. That energy, that, you know what I'm saying? That family, that them ancestors, they're there with you. So I'm just letting y'all know what y'all saying. That shit resonate with me. You know, it really do. It resonate with me. Just want y'all to know that that shit resonate with me. Like I said, I am foundational. My people, we come from the Sarah. You hear me? We come from the Sarah. So, I just want to let y'all know I appreciate this conversation. You know what I'm saying? I don't get to catch this live off